a near-capacity John Cain Arena. It is a hostile environment in Illawarra. Is this corporate coffee-drinking crowd able to match it? Because in the games that we've seen in the past, I don't think they've been able to bring it.
Well, I saw a little article in the week about the Illawarra Hawks fans are going to come down. They're going to bring their signs as well to John Cain Arena. And some Melbourne United fans are going to welcome that. I think there might be a bit of hostility here, but it's game 2 of a championship series. You talk about must-wins, do or dies. It's all on the line right now for Illawarra.
Absolutely. It's all about business. They better come in here ready to go, because if you get down 0-2, Felix, you can kiss the baby. Trust me, you can kiss the baby.
As we recap game 1, the fourth quarter was where it all went down. They were always within a hunt, but I'll tell you what, if you get smashed on the offensive rebound, then usually it means hunger. And Melbourne United, they come in here with a taste of defeat last year, still fresh in their mouth.
They do, and again, their veteran experience was huge in the second half. They were poised, they stayed composed, they never got rattled, they didn't take any poor shots, and it showed. Veteran leadership in the clutch, when the emotions and everything is heightened in a championship series, it matters.
Experience plays a role, man. Dean Bickham's been through this, he's done it, he knows what it takes to win. But on top of that, they got 4 or 5 guys on this team that have been there and know what it takes. And they were calm and they played their game.
And you look at history right here. The teams that have won game 1 for the last 10 years, albeit the last 2 seasons have gone on to win the championship. History is always bound to repeat itself, and I'm not sure how you can judge that one, because the last 2 years, it's managed to go the other way.
And we've had some fascinating championship series, especially those last 2 years, but them stealing home court kind of throws that all out the window. But as we said, 40 minutes here could change everything.
As always, the loser is the one that usually has to make the most adjustments. For the Hawks, what is their main concern coming into this one?
Yeah, looking at some clips when you break down game 1, the way they guarded Chris Goulding was something they're now going to have to look at, because you can't let Chris Goulding get off the chain. But look where Wani Swakler-Bullock is right there. Look at the space that opens up for the United guards. Every single time, both Delhi and Shea Ili just put the ball on the floor. That's a layup. I know Delhi missed a couple, but Justin Taylor put the onus on his guards. So we've got to be better at defending Ili and Dellavedova in particular, when everybody's going to be locked in, and understandably so on Chris Goulding. Look at this clip right here. Look at all the space around the Powerade logo. That's way too much space. Delhi's too smart of an operator to give that much space.
It just seems like they said, forget about Delhi. We're going to let you shoot as long as we shut Goulding down. Well, that didn't work, because Delhi's good enough to knock down shots when he's that wide open.
On that topic, we were amazed. The first 6 shots of the game felt like they went to Matthew Dellavedova, and you were saying it, he shot another one. We were on the sideline.
Listen, Delhi is a professional, man. He knows what it takes, and he's not shy. He's going to take those shots when he's open, and then eventually they're going to fall, because he's been there. He's played against the best. This guy's guarded Steph Curry. You know, for him to come out and play the way he played, 16 points at 42%, he was terrific. Look, the first couple he blew, but he got going.
The aggression is what is going to help free up Chris Goulding. And I know everybody's talking about from a Melbourne perspective, how do you let the defense get off the chain a little bit? How do you free up your superstar shooter in Goulding? Well, it's Delhi and Shea Ili being aggressive, because that means guys like Wani Swakler-Bullock all of a sudden have to look over their shoulder, say, do I have to help my teammates in Tyler Harvey and Hickey guard everybody else? Or can I do my role on CG?
That percentage for Dellavedova would have been a whole lot higher if he didn't go damn near 1 for 5 at the beginning of the game. So he's almost 80%. It lies to you for them. But Trade Cal, he has been a yo-yo throughout this finals series, including the semi-finals. Good game, bad game. Great game, bad game. History says we're in for a good one tonight.
He better. He needs to have a good game. If he doesn't have a good game, it's over. He needs to come out and be aggressive. He needs to get to the basket. He needs to use that big body and post up. The problem is Delhi's just as strong as him. So I see a great matchup.
And I think the best part about his size as a point guard is being able to play slow. I thought he was way too erratic at times in this game, especially to start the third quarter. He's got the size, he's got that muscle and the poise to just pick his moments. Even that play there, that's a great take for him, but it's the timing of it. I think if he slows the game down, really reads what the defense gives him, he's going to be set for a big one. The Hawks need both him and Tyler Harvey to fire, and you have a look, you're talking about a yo-yo. It's pretty stark right there.
That is up and down right there, bro.
But look at the last column. It's no surprise when they're all NBL first teamer plays well and leads, it leads to W.
Absolutely.
How much Tyler Harvey, Trade Cal has been copping a lot of criticism throughout this series, because when we see him play poorly, sometimes we see him drop off on the defensive end. Usually when you got 2 all-NBL guys, one guy has to pick up the slack. And right now, Tyler Harvey needs to show in this game too.
Well, normally you've only got 1 point of attack defender to go against, but Melbourne United have the 2 best backcourt defending guards in Ili and Dellavedova. So they're doing a really good job of blanketing them, but you're right. Tyler Harvey, he's a prolific scorer. The way that he goes about it, it frees things up for everybody else. You've just got the sense that both Harvey and Kell are going to feel the moment and going to rise to the challenge, because you know Justin Tatum needs them to.
There needs to be somebody else. And Todd Blanchfield needs to come out and go for 30 like he's done before. But you're right, those two guys have to fire, at least one of them anyway, for them to have a chance tonight.
CG43 is the most action-packed star in this series. We've seen him dominate all throughout the year. Game one, we saw a little spurt of it late, which blew the game open. We didn't see it all game, but we saw enough of it.
You know what? He got into foul trouble early, and I thought, you know, the Hawks went at him early, got him into foul trouble. He had to sit down, but he's such a savvy veteran. He knows what he's doing. Came back in, didn't try to force any bad shots, got other guys involved, and when the shot presented himself, he knocked it down.
If I'm looking at Wani Swakala-Bullock's job on Chris Goulding, if I'm Justin Tatum, I'm saying do not change a thing. I thought he was terrific individually in that matchup. You need the rest of your team to be able to stay in front of their man, and everybody does their job, and you go one step further to winning a ball game. I thought he was terrific, but you also know Chris Goulding's hit 19 threes in his last 2 games here in John Cain Arena. 19 of 29. Loves playing here.
He has been simply dominant at John Cain Arena, but when you talk simply dominant, one name comes into the sphere, and that is Andrew Gaze, the man who Chris Goulding could potentially overtake. Now, when you talk about Andrew Gaze and NBL history, it's like talking Wilt Chamberlain numbers with some of the records, Lennart.
Absolutely, man. Look, he played forever, but this guy was an absolute superstar that got it done night in and night out in a 48-minute era. And God, look, back then, guys used to beat you up. I must say, Chris Goulding.
No.
Back then, guys, when you went to the basket, you got knocked on your bum.
Oh,
it ain't as much as you. Fellas, I'm telling you, I played back then. I'm old, I know.
The fact use the word bum. How's about the Bear, though, just quietly sitting on top? Tony Ronalds had played a lot of finals, very successful.
He certainly did. Now, the big story for me throughout the semi-finals and throughout the finals now has been Jack White. Now, I'm going to start off on his free throws here. 1 for 4 from the free throw line in the previous game. I still don't think he's been tested. A coach has not sent anyone out there, and Lennart, you can't see him right now, but he is stamping his foot because you agree.
These coaches, they're not doing the right thing. They have not tested this guy. The first time he touches the ball, I'm smacking him. The first time he takes a shot, I'm smacking him just to see where his head is. Now, he might come in and knock down some shots, so be it. But what if he goes 0 for 3 or 0 for 4, 0 for 5? Gives you an opportunity to come back on the other end and get a basket.
Yeah, 1 for 4. That last one was money, so maybe he takes some confidence out of that. But you're right,
Money,
even the Perth
it hit the
Wildcats,
back of the rim and it almost hit the roof before it went in.
the very last one he took was a swish. He missed the first 2 short, and then he went 1 of 2. The last one was a swish to finish on a good note, and he's been shooting the 3-ball at a very, very high rate. He is super important to Melbourne's success, for him to be able to come in there and try and right that wrong. But you're right, we haven't seen a team. Even the Wildcats in Game 3 didn't really test it out. We'll see what happens in Game 2.
What did you think, we can see it right here, of Jack being subbed out? This was after he missed his first 2 free throws. Now, this whole thing's a mental game. Jack White can shoot free throws. One of the best players on this team, one of the better players in the NBL. He could shoot from the free throw line. He was subbed out immediately after going 0 for 2.
Yeah, called it in that game. I didn't like it. As you said, it's all between the ears. And credit to him, because when he came off, we saw it. He was giving high fives. The spirits are up. But that's one when you know he's going through that. You want to let him have a couple more possessions to try and shake it off and see if he can get back there and knock down a couple, because you then sit on the bench, that's all you're thinking about.
Of course, but we differ on this opinion, because I think Dean Bickham was thinking about the team, and if he missed another free throw, he really was going in. So Dean wanted to bring him out, let him settle down, and get him right back in.
Well, Davo Hickey was a big-time factor in Game 1. It didn't push him to the win, but he tried his hardest right there. Kelsey Brown caught up with him a little bit earlier.
Davo, thanks so much for your time. Went down in Game 1, but Justin Tatum called it not a setback, but a learning experience. How did the group see that Game 1?
I won't sit here and lie, it did hurt being up. But at the same time, when you walk away from a game like that, you understand who Melbourne United are, and they're going to fight back like that. And we spoke about it, but at the end of the day, they're a very vetted team and very experienced, so it's something you have to expect, and just looking to capitalise on a lead like that next time if we're not in that position.
They are a very experienced team. You guys are coming in with a lot less experience than them. Do you think that plays a part in a bit of the game?
100%, but at the same time, we feel like there's things that we can use to our advantage, you know, being a younger team, and not just younger, just being as deep as we can go on the bench, you know. Yeah.
Justin Tatum also said you went away from the pace and the non-negotiables that got you to where you are. How did you see the second half? You obviously put 53 points on the board in the first half and then a 14-point three-quarter time score. How did you see that second half?
It was just slow. The ball stuck, exactly like JT said. We didn't get in our normal pace like we like to, and that was very evident. And not just that, them getting 0 boards and as many as they got stopped our pace. That's where a lot of our running comes from, and they've done a great job of that.
And finally, I want to ask about you. You toyed with a triple-double in the game. You seem to be playing with a lot of confidence. It is your first championship series. How are you feeling out there? Are you feeling like you've got a lot of confidence coming into these games?
I've said it before, it's just basketball at the end of the day, right? If I sit here and overthink it, I'm going to make the job harder for myself and for my team. So I'm just out here doing what I know my body can do and just relax and let it do its thing, and hopefully everything will turn out all right.
We love watching you play. All the best for game 2.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We've already been to overtime once. Harvey down low. Clark, no foul. Hickey, offensive rebound. Scores! Incredible from Will Hickey. The want, the desire, the effort. He comes up with one of the biggest plays of his career.
You talk about Delhi, you talk about Jack being in the NBA, you talk about Ian Clark, who won championship in the NBA as well, and the NBL championship. Having those guys just understand what it takes for the younger guys.
Knowledge and experience, it doesn't just start when you get to the finals. It's a season-long thing, and you need to have these habits sort of built into yourself as an individual and the team as a whole.
With so much veteran talent on this team, that the hardest part is for people to take a little back seat with their voice and listen to someone else. And so, I think they do a good job of making sure they know whose turn it is to really put forward their ideas and go with it.
What drives me is just competing and trying to win and always trying to improve. And, when you work hard for something and then get a result, that's the reward.
For me personally, I was hurt in the NBL championship and I was on a 2-way contract with the Nuggets when we won. If anything, to me, it just motivates me to do everything I can. I actually have an opportunity to contribute, I guess, in a more significant way to this championship this year. And that sort of was a fire that was burning since we won in 21. And, I want to have the final buzzer go off and I'm standing on the court and I'm a part of it. And, we've stepped up in big games and I've contributed to the team not only during the regular season but during the finals. That's moments that you dream of.
Melbourne United, a storied club who have tasted plenty of championship success, and including their head coach, of course, CG43, a three-time NBL champion, looking to add to that this year along with Shea Ili, the defensive powerhouse, a two-time champion. The pedigree runs thick and fast, NBL and NBA champions as well in Jack White, Ian Clark, and of course, coming up in Matthew Dellavedova. Plenty and plenty of success throughout here. Marcus Lee, of course, with Tasmania just over the pond. Illawarra, it's been 23 years since they've won their own. They're looking to add a banner, maybe Damon Lowry as well to that route. But we welcome in Kelsey Brown right now, because the NBL times NBA, for a long time, we've gone all the way over there, but now we've just gone one up. We've said, no, you're coming over here now.
It's exciting news, and I feel like I've left my best till game 2 of the championship series to bring all the news. Thank you to the NBL for announcing huge things this week. So NBA times NBL, along with Visit Victoria, have announced that the New Orleans Pelicans will be coming to Australia. It is huge news for the league. Larry Kesselman said it's been 15 years in the making. It's been a lifelong dream of his. It's been something that has been in the works. And Pete, I know that everyone here on NBL soil is excited. I'll get to that one in a moment. Andrew Bogut, that's another little bit of news. But NBL times NBA, Pete, how exciting is this for the league?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be a part of the starting journey when we went over there to play. For them to be coming here, I know people are saying, well, the whole roster's coming out. According to the Pelicans organization, if you think that the New Orleans Pelicans are going to be part of history, come here and be okay with potentially losing, that is not going to happen. They're going to come in and try and get a big win over Melbourne United and Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, regardless of who's playing. The fact that it's going to be here in Australia is awesome, and I think the interest has already started to spark up.
Well, I'm lucky enough to be talking to Dave Griffin throughout the game, so I'm going to ask him that question. Will Zion be on Australian soil? And I can't wait for that. But another team in the NBL making huge moves is the Sydney Kings. Announced today, Brian Goorjian has made a huge addition to the coaching structure. Andrew Bogut, we saw him in commentary this year, 3-time Olympian, NBA champion, brings a wealth of experience. He joins the Sydney Kings coaching structure. Leonard, is that an interesting one for you? Or are you excited to see Bogut join it?
It's going to be different. I gave him a call when I found out. I can't wait to see him out there rebounding balls for other people. Yeah, Bogut, don't mess this one up, big fella.
Well, Luke Longley has also come out. He's part of the Hoops Capital Ownership. He said he really backs the decision. Can't wait to see what Andrew and Brian put together in the off-season. But, Pete, I think it's a brilliant call.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If you're going to tell me there's a better basketball mind in Australia than Andrew Bogut, I'll call you a liar. That man knows the game, knows the ins and outs of the sport worldwide better than anyone. It's a huge get for the Sydney Kings. Obviously, he's part of that organisation, and fascinated to see how it all plays out.
Yes, well, they're two big bits of news, but the big three. Now, if you don't know what the big three is, I'm going to explain it to you. It's 3x3 basketball, founded by Ice Cube, hip-hop legend, actor, media mogul. He absolutely loves it. He's been absolutely huge in bringing this out here, and they're hosting an international showcase of Big Three, bringing all of the league's best players. The rosters are built with NBA former stars, international superstars. The league is huge. Montrezl Harrell has just signed for the Big Three. I'm not sure if he'll be out here, but Pete, another big move for the NBL.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We don't like the FIBA break because there's no basketball. We're going to have some elite basketball when that hits the shores.
Certainly, we do not want the FIBA break. We want that gone, but Big Three is going to be amazing. The NBL, NBA coming here. It's going to be fantastic. Kelsey Brown, all thanks to basketball.com.au. Thank you very much. Now, we were lucky enough to catch up with the superstar from Game 1, Marcus Lee, a little bit earlier. We're here with part of the Melbourne United front court, Marcus Lee. A fantastic Game 1 from you. Some of us would say, well, all of us would say, the difference in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I try to just do whatever it takes to get the job done and whatever the team needs of me, and that was the job of the day. I feel like I just tried to take whatever was presented to me, and man, my team had my back.
You've got some incredible leaders, veteran experience on this team. Going out there in the second half, down double digits in the first half, do you feel a sense of calm when you know the ball's in the likes of Delly's hands, Chris Scans?
I think that's the biggest thing is our whole team has a sense of calm the whole year, and you felt that the whole time. It's a very rare thing to have throughout your whole team, and it's great to have a bunch of veterans who've played all around the world in big moments, and they've all are able to take those big moments and hold it strongly.
Marcus, when you first got here, Dean would have given you a role. Has that role changed at all? And what was the role, in fact?
I mean, I've been with Dean now, this is my second year, so it's always, molding and changing. And I think that's the best thing about being here at Melbourne United is that they allow you to get better and challenge you to do new things. And especially after that injury last year, there was a lot of challenges that I had to go through, and he just kept pushing me to get better.
A lot of people talk about the atmosphere at Illawarra. It's quite unique. The fans are always on top of you, and they're a little bit rabid, to use maybe a lesser term. But you've played at Kentucky, Rupp Arena, one of the most competitive, best atmospheres in college sports, maybe world sports. How do you take that Illawarra atmosphere? Is it intimidating?
Yeah, first off, shout out to my Wildcats. They're going into the SEC right now. We got our first win. But honestly, yeah, I think that's a great way that prep me is we went into wild rogue places back in college, and I've been used to having people having a target on my back, and it's no different here at United, and that's just something we've reiterated all the time is, play like there's people chasing you that's trying to kill you, and
damn,
that's kind of been a big thing this past week.
Now, Marcus, talking to a lot of people around the league since you touched down in the NBL, no one can say a bad word about you. You're the ultimate teammate. Everybody likes you. And I understand that, and I've got to know you as well. But true or false, the last time there was a home game here, this man had to walk the streets in 39-degree weather. He was sweating bullets, and you just got on the horn to let him know about it, that he didn't have a park.
No, I tried to. The whole point was to pick him up, but he was already there. I was gonna drive him and pick him up, but he's already at the door. Now then, at that point, I just had to make fun of him at that point.
Marcus, look, you've had Roth down in Tasmania. You've got Dean Vickerman here. What's the difference in coaches?
They're two great coaches. I give you that, and I think that's what leads you to a place like this. They're willing to push you as hard as you can, and also force you to learn on the fly. They both push me to my limits in very different ways, and I think that's what makes me a really good person at this moment in time is I had these great coaches from now all the way to a young kid that was able to push me, and I give wherever I am right now and wherever I am in the next couple of years to them.
Well, Marcus, whether it be Tasmania or whether it be Melbourne, we absolutely love having you in the league, and good luck in Game 2 tonight.
Thank you, guys.
And next time, give me a ride.
Marcus Lee was the difference in Game 1 as we press on through this series. Game 2, who will win this one? Will it be 2-up for Melbourne or 1-1 for Illawarra? Game 2, not far away.
Matthew Dellavedova.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
10 minutes away from tip-off. It's starting to fill out here. They know what happened in Illawarra. They know what the crowd's been like. The flock building signs. If I'm a Melbourne United supporter, I'm trying to bring a whole lot of energy here.
Well, it's starting to build now. Everyone's finding their seats. You just feel 1-3 from Chris Golding is going to set this place alight. This is a championship series. It's all on the line. There's some boos there now, Copes, as the Hawks run out.
More importantly, the players have butterflies in their stomach. They're ready, goosebumps. They're ready to go.
They certainly will. One man who has just relished every game at John Caner Arena pretty much throughout his whole career is CG43. The number that he averages is astonishing. The percentage that he shoots at is astonishing. We've said time and time again, the way he can take bad shots and turn them into great makes is absolutely unbelievable. But it's time now for a quick anthem from Caitlin Peterson.
The sensational Caitlin Peterson.
Australians, only us rejoice, for we are one and free, with gold and soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
A beautifully sung national anthem as both teams not far away, a little under 8 minutes until we get this one underway. The matchups here, we can sometimes get so focused on the backcourt of both these teams because that's where your All-NBL, your MVP caliber players sit. But right now, Darius Days and Jack White, the matchup between those two is going to be integral.
Yeah, I think Darius Days is going to play a whole lot more. I think that's one adjustment that Justin Tatum will make. Not so much for his impact off the bench, more so his impact inside to really bank bodies. They have an advantage if they can throw the ball inside. I think we're going to see Days a whole lot more. We know how influential Jack White is on the other side.
And you got two guys, Beetling and Darius Days, so that's 10 fouls. Use all 10 of them and see what this guy can do at the free throw line.
Well, Leonard, let's head to the coach's whiteboard. The guy that I was reading up on basketball.com.au, and Dean Bickerman dropped 32 in your head, and you were blaming jet lag.
It was a practice game, bro. It was the first game I was here, so the first day I was here. But here you go. Dean Bickerman must do the same thing they did before. Control the boards. I think they rebounded them 54-39. More rebounds means more shots for your shooters. Secondly, they got to make sure they take care of Kel and Tyler Harvey. If you shut these guys down like you did the first game, the game is over. Trust me, because these guys are their scorers. And thirdly, control the tempo. Control that tempo, because Illawarra like to run. They like to push the ball. So slow it down, make sure you get a good shot every time.
You could have saved yourself a whole lot of words and said do the same thing as game one in the second half.
That's
exactly what they did in the second half.
Yeah.
But Justin Tatum, obviously, he said it in the press conference, is stay in front of Shea Ili and Matthew Dellavedova. They were ultra aggressive because of all the space on the floor. So that's going to be the first one, is making sure that you're in a stance, stay in front of those guards, make the defense work on the other end. And then the last one is the most important. Blank slate. You forget everything that happened in game one. All you worry about is getting this game and going back to then have a 3-game series. It's hard to do, but I think Justin Tatum's a good enough coach to be able to make them forget what happened in game one.
History says if you go down 2-0, then it's going to be very, very, very tough to come back, almost impossible. If you're the Illawarra Hawks, how much pressure are you under as a unit tonight to steal this road game?
I think all the pressure right now is going to be in that first quarter, because if they are a little bit down or whatever in the second half with this crowd, it's going to be hard to pull yourself out of that mental mindset of, man, we're about to go down 0-2. If they get off to a good start, they're going to release so much nervous energy, and really be able to put a good foot forward.
Well, they look loose. They're playing around in warm-ups. I think they'll come out and play well. And they generally play well here. Melbourne United are a tough team to beat, but they play well.
They do. I'll tell you what, game 2 of the semi-final series. Melbourne, can they go 2 up? Or will Illawarra level this one and turn this into a series? Tip-off now.
Here we go, in front of another sold-out sandpit. Who will win the NBL's 47th title? Illawarra, Melbourne, let's go! Jung Lee. Oh, watch out.
You can't mess around with the Illawarra Hawks. They will blow you smooth out the building in a matter of minutes. Melbourne United just doing enough, Drewy, to hang in there.
And it's the Hawks with a double-figure lead. Momentum out of half-time in favour of United.
Just like that, a quick turn of events. Plenty of time left in this one now.
Melbourne with momentum. Golding pulls up for three and drops a big one from the corner. Melbourne by 4. Another three-pointer. The second seed with an upset in game 1. Melbourne come to Wollongong, smack the Hawks in the face and steal home court advantage. For this entire NBL season, the Illawarra Hawks have set the standard and piled pressure on the rest of the NBL. But the first time, now it is their turn to feel the pressure, down 1-0 in the championship series. Tonight, they look to turn their wounds into wisdom and square the series at 1-1. Meanwhile, for Melbourne United, a chance for them to land a massive blow and get one hand on the championship trophy. Only a handful of tickets left inside John Cain Arena on one of the biggest weekends in Melbourne sport. Tonight is the hottest ticket in town as Melbourne United and Illawarra go head-to-head in Game 2 of the Championship Series. So great to have your company. The atmosphere inside John Cain Arena right now is absolutely electric. I'm Jack Heverin, two of the greats of the league alongside me and Derek Rucker and Andrew Gaze, and this, gentlemen, is what we are here for.
Yeah, it's full of excitement. There's a buzz in the building and a lot of expectations from Melbourne United fans. I think that they weren't surprised, but clearly very pleased to get that road win. And the Illawarra Hawks, Derek, in this series, almost impossible to think that you could beat a team 3 straight. That's what Illawarra have to do if they drop this one. So this is a big one for the Hawks.
It certainly is, and a team like Illawarra, who's so strong on the offensive end, they have the capabilities to come in here and put enough points on the board. But can they deal with Melbourne United's institutional championship pedigree and be able to defend sufficiently enough, Jack?
As you saw in the package, Melbourne won Game 1 last weekend over Illawarra in Illawarra, and Andrew Gaze, they did that without Chris Golding having a massive say on the game.
No, he didn't have a massive say, but it was an important one, particularly when it counted. He had the 15 points on 4 of 10 from the field, but it's the 2 made threes. They coming at the one in the last quarter in particular was huge. Ian Clark hit one, Delhi hit one, so when it mattered the most, their defense was great, but they were able to come up big, particularly in the second half on the offensive end, and you're going to need to do that against the best statistically offensive team in the competition.
From an Illawarra perspective, Derek, they would have preferred to have not be beaten by what they would have already known. I'm not sure that they would have known that Marcus Lee was going to have the game 1 that he did.
Well, this can often happen in championship series where the focus is on the stars, and guess what? A quality role player catches you asleep. Marcus Lee is the perfect candidate for being able to excel in situations like this due to the simplicity of his game, Andrew. He keeps it very basic. Catch, dunk, finish, block shots, and protect the rim.
And a lot of the game he was guarding Will Hickey, so he was conceding, and that put him right in the middle of the paint, took away the driving lanes that have been so strong for the Illawarra Hawks, and also helped with the rim protection.
To the Illawarra Hawks, they have to lick their wounds, as we mentioned, and make the adjustments into Game 2. Derek, there are a couple of seasons here in the NBL. There's the regular season, there's playoff season, and then there's championship season. And right now, the man on the screen, the Illawarra need Trey Kell in championship season.
They certainly do, and they had 3 guys share their club MVP award, but Trey Kell is the one that's taken most of the scrutiny coming out of Game 1. He only had 6 points on 3 of 11 shooting. He is a far better player, but I think they need to see aggression early from him. Tyler Harvey tried hard, played the right way, but Melbourne United defended him exceptionally well. He only was able to get 10 shots. His usage needs to increase, and Sam Froling was the best of the 3, but he didn't show the dominance that we've seen Froling exhibit against Melbourne United. He needs to get big buckets at big time.
That's right, and he can do that, and they're going to go to him like they did in Game 1, particularly early. Let's check the adjustments that Melbourne United have made, because they can't have Sam Froling dominating the game, but the Illawarra Hawks, they can't win if both Harvey and Kell are not firing. And if one of them okay, you might be able to get away with it. But right there in that starting lineup, they have the best defensive backcourt that we have seen in a long time.
Correct.
Arguably ever in Shea Illy and Matthew Dellavedova, which makes the job of Harvey and Kell all that much more difficult.
Starting 5 for the Illawarra Hawks. Darius Day's not out there again, but we heard the boys talk about it in the pre-game ruck. They're expecting to see more of Darius Days, even though Mason Peatling's starting.
Well, there was a lot of criticism of Justin Tatum's small ball lineup. Drewy, I didn't mind the opportunities that it created in the first half of game 1. The problem was the execution. Players have to knock down shots. Coaches can't get out there and do it for you.
No, and they got tremendous depth. And although Peatling started, he only played 8 minutes in that one. Had 4 rebounds in short minutes. And they go to that small ball, but surprisingly, they went away from Harvey down the stretch as well. Now, he logged a lot of minutes and he was very patient, but in crunch time, he did spend some very important minutes on the bench.
So, Drury, just quickly before the tip, if I'm Justin Tatum, I'm very patient in letting my players feel out the game, but I'm going to be very impatient with my schemes and strategies.
Well, certainly in that second half, Melbourne United took away a lot of those driving lanes, took away the penetration, and as such, they looked very stagnant, not a lot of ball movement, and they would have looked at that review and just noticed the poor quality of shots they got in that second half after a commanding first half performance at home.
It is a monster weekend of sport here in Melbourne. The Grand Prix this weekend, the AFL season in full swing, but near on a sellout tonight at John Cain Arena for Game 2 of the Championship Series between United and Illawarra. Our 3 officials, Nico Fernandez, Chris Reed, and great to have Vaughan Mabry back for Game 2 after staying with his family in Queensland for Game 1. Shea Illy on the move straight away. Gave up his look for Dellavedova, who likes to get to that spot. He couldn't cash in on that first attempt.
Well, he had 17 shots in the first game. He was 6 of 17, and he started this way. This, I think, is by design with Matthew Dellavedova. It's not just a coincidence he's taken matters into his own hands. They see something and they want to put it in, give the ball to him, and when he gets to his spot, just in front of the rim, he is a tough, tough cover.
The Hawks have been such good starters in games across the season. They've won 21 first quarters across the regular season. They'll need to start well tonight. Froling attacks the glass straight away, which was a problem for Illawarra in Game 1. Swakala Bullock draws a closeout, gets into the paint. He left it short as well, so a couple of decent looks early for the Hawks.
Yeah, well, I thought he left opportunities on the table also in Game 1. He's got to be good at attacking closeouts. In that one, I thought he was a little bit tentative as the Hawks would get blown for a whistle against Chris Golding.
No, it was on Swakala Bullock, just because he is in the Bryce Cotton mode of just forget about all team defensive principles. He's locking into Chris Golding, and that's his sole responsibility.
There's a mismatch on the floor, and Melbourne roll it down low to Rob Lowe to exploit that matchup. First points of the night. And important for Rob Lowe, only 2 points in 15 minutes on Saturday. Just couldn't get into Game 1 at all.
And got frustrated too. A couple of undisciplined plays, and that's really easy by Froling, straight down the middle.
Oh.
Physical early. Dellavedova might have got away with something. Trey Kell grabs at his nose, and a little floater from Delly is good.
And Andrew, I'll be very interested to have another look at this to see the severity of the contact. Didn't look like much to me. Got to shake that off and continue to play.
Well, that's right. You might be, but you've got to, he's playing for your life out there. He's got to be able to recover. Albeit that when you've ever been hit on the nose, Derek, it can be a bit of a stinger.
Swakala Bullock for 3, no hesitation. Knocks that down.
An effective three-point shooter. He's been fine in catch-and-shoot situations where he's been given space. Swakala Bullock hits his first one, and now he's off to the races.
Head down to the basket, has Jack White stalking him, he's fouled.
And Drew,
on the free throw line.
Chris Golding is pleading for a travel there on the break. I didn't see it.
No.
And especially when we saw Ian Clark get away with one the other day that looked questionable.
No, that's right. It was just long stride steps by Swakala Bullock. It looked a little unorthodox, but it looked clean to me.
Just a 6.5. Derek Rucker gave Wani Swakala Bullock.
Correct.
After the game one ratings.
And you know, Jack, when you lose a game, Drew, and when you don't take advantage of opportunity to help your team win.
Oh, come on now.
When there's a lot of defensive pressure on Kell and Harvey.
Come on. He's a hard man to please.
Held Chris Golding to 10 shots, 4 of 10 from the field.
Foul trouble, Drew.
NBL.com.au to check it out. The ratings will be up tomorrow. Golding for 3.
That's tough. Certain times you just got to look another guy in the face and say, that's just too good. Not much more Swakala Bullock could have done. Perhaps a little bit more help from the screener.
Harvey responds for Illawarra, so both team scorers getting an early look.
That's a big bucket for Harvey. Getting into the paint, that looked like a travel.
Illawarra by 2. Early stages of Game 2 at John Cain Arena, the championship series between United and the Hawks. Golding through contact, just threw that up looking for a foul. And then Tyler Harvey puts his foot on the line and Melbourne will get the ball back.
I'm not sure how that wasn't a foul from the angle that we had with Chris Golding. And it looked like he got pushed as he took that shot.
Well, early, Drew, there's so much contact. Look at the contact there between Swakala Bullock.
Just got wedged in between the two. Actually, on the replay, it didn't look as egregious as I originally thought.
So, but Jack, I think you'll see the referees tighten up the calls now, especially in these exchange situations, whether it's direct screening or it's dribble handoff, because that's 2 really physical plays we've had on the Melbourne United end.
There was some leniency in Game 1 last Saturday. As we often see in a championship series, things change. Golding watches Swakala Bullock fly by and bury his second one of the night.
Yeah, and when you're late on that, you do have that temptation to fly by, but just carrying a hand and making him shoot over a hand, albeit not the sort of pressure you'd want, may be a better option.
Desperate to get that 3 ball away, defers to Rob Lowe. Jack White with the offensive rebound. Golding hunting the next shot. That was deflected. Better D from Swakala Bullock that time, and that is absolutely a foul every day of the week.
And a good foul. Right. Low. Have a look at this. See, now, if you he's trying to trail, but I understand what you're doing, but there was absolutely no chance for anyone to help. And just flying by was always going to leave a wide open shot.
Ian Clark into the game for the first time. What a playoff series he's having, averaging 21.5 points a game. Averaged 12 across the season, Derek.
Well, he's an outstanding player and one of those guys that understands when to make an impact on the game, as Sam Froling continues to play solid basketball. He's 2 of 2 with 4 points early. And we talked about the Hawks' 3 MVPs needing to lift their game. Well, Harvey and Froling are doing just that early.
Discussion about the way he was used. Nice deep from the Hawks. They fly up the other end of the floor, and Swakala Bullock has started this game well.
Aggressive, 7 points already in this one. And that's their MO, the Illawarra Hawks. They're looking for shots in the first 6 to 8 seconds of a possession more than most.
There's a bit of tension in
there
there.
Is.
Might not have seen that, but Swakala Bullock walked off, and Chris Golding gave him a little smile as if to say, yeah, I've seen you off. I've seen you off.
2 fouls early for Wani Swakala Bullock.
So now the pressure falls on Davo Hickey as Golding's off to a good start. Hickey will have to be really disciplined in his approach. Now the Hawks are appealing, saying it's their basketball, but referee Vaughn Mayberry says, no, fellas, we'll keep it on this end. There's no way I'm challenging this, Andrew. Not a chance, and Harvey better get back.
Yeah, he's been caught out big time here. He fouls Ian Clark and pays the ultimate price.
Well, it's the worst possible outcome. He went to his coach and the coaching staff to challenge that out of bounds, got caught out, and then he's come back and fouled the three-point shooter coming from behind. And that's a foul. That's a potential 4-point play.
We saw it all in the Amy replay. Melbourne are 3 of 5 from deep to start the night. Here's Darius Days into the game for the first time, Derek. Just the 6 points in game 1.
And I try and make him a focus as they get into a loose type screening action between the two guards, but Trey Kell, that's a bad shot.
Needs to start this game well, Trey Kell. 3 of 11 in game 1 in Illawarra. Nice hands from Harvey. Knocks that ball out of play.
But Andrew, when you look at the size of Days and in his matchup against Kyle Bowen, you would think just throw it to him on the block, let him play and see if he can overpower Bowen.
Golding the focal point of the offense right now. Clark almost lost the handle. Shot clock down to 5. And a foul will be called on Kyle Bowen. So a win at the defensive end for the Hawks.
And it's going to be important that the Hawks pick up their defensive intensity. It was good in the first half in Wollongong on Saturday night, but it fell apart in the second half, where they let Melbourne United get into space and execute their sets. And then Dellavedova was really strong with his penetration and setting up easy buckets.
13 apiece.
Oh,
there is contact everywhere right now.
143, you back into it. Good.
We got it.
143, back into win.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Good call.
and again, a lot of domino action on these screens and dribble handoffs. And
he's canceled. Dean Vickerman originally wanted a challenge, and then he got some advice from his assistant coach, Bruce Carter, and I think it was good advice that was provided. But you spoke about Matthew Dellavedova and the way in which he can create. He only had 2 assists in game 1, and first time in 21 games that he hasn't had 6 or more. So it's unusual for him not only have the 2, but to have 6 or more in 21 straight games is exceptional.
So is the Mitsubishi ASX, by the way. It is exceptional. You can jump online, celebrate the NBL finals, scan the QR code, and head to nbl.com.au/car to win an ASX. Like it'd be like to cruising streets of Brisbane in that.
I told you, all black. I'm good to go.
And it's not your style. The Outlander or the Pajero quality vehicles.
Can't see Derek being a Triton kind of guy.
No, a Pajero would work as well, Drew.
15-13. Both coaches bringing the changes. Tyler Harvey out of the game. Lachlan Olbrich, the talented 20-year-old from South Australia, in for his first look tonight. Golding continues to attract a crowd. Melbourne wind that shot clock all the way down now to single figures. Dellavedova can't score from underneath. Lee with the rebound. Hickey doesn't know where the ball is. Darius Days does. Locates it and forces a turnover. This is a high-energy outfit on the floor for Illawarra right now, and Trey Kell with his first points of the night.
Interesting to see Justin Tatum go with Dan Greta so early in this game. Obviously, he wants the energy and this type of open court ability. He gets the ball here and makes a really good decision and feeds Olbrich for the finish.
But what it does show
Sorry, Kell for the finish.
The incredible depth that Illawarra have. They've got coverage at every position, and Todd Blanchfield has been exceptional the last few games. And this was a similar rotation they had in game 1. Todd Blanchfield didn't come on until 2 minutes to go in the first in game 1.
This is Flint Cameron, a DMP in game 1. Steps up with a big moment in game 2.
And Drew, you have to know that he is going to shoot the basketball. He plays with a great amount of fearlessness. He's offensive-minded, and he punishes the Hawks there with a 3-ball.
And they're doing this again. They are completely ignoring Dave O'Hickey, number 6 for Illawarra. When you're watching him on the offensive end, Chris Golding having that time, and he was almost in a one-man zone.
Clark ultra aggressive for 3. There is Will Hickey.
And this is where, if they're playing that strategy, this is in the open court in transition, is where he can get active.
14 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists in game 1. Dan Greeter reaching in has been whistled for the foul.
And Andrew, I'm a little bit surprised at the high turnover of substitutions and the willingness of both coaches to go into their benches. I know the pace is high.
And Ian Clark, he didn't start. He only played 3 minutes, and he comes out of the game. And I think this is a reflection of Dean Vickman, one, getting Flynn Cameron back into getting some time, and also the fact that this has been a very physical start to the game, and just want to making sure that he keeps everyone fresh.
Tanner Krebs has been important for Melbourne in this playoff series. His numbers are more advanced across the season. When Cameron puts the ball on the floor, this is a really good start for his confidence.
Well, Andrew, I know you enjoyed watching him play. That screen was illegal. Melbourne United could feel hard done by there. Dave set a blind screen that I thought was illegal. But going back to Flynn Cameron, I know you really liked him last season and thought perhaps he warranted more court time in that championship series.
And ditto this season. I think this season he's again shown what he's capable of doing. In most other teams, he'd possibly start on a good chunk of teams. And to his credit, he's playing a role and playing it in a very successful, experienced and well-organized team. And he hasn't dropped a lip. He stayed real positive, and it's credit to his character.
Speaking of character, Derek, Trey Kell started the game. How have you seen it? Copped a lot of criticism after game 1.
All 3 guys that we highlighted in the opener have come out and done a good job to start the game. We got an 8-second call. But Trey Kell looks comfortable, Andrew.
Yeah.
After he took that elbow in the early possessions, he's bounced back. And if I were in his shoes on this possession right now, knowing that you're shooting 2 free throws on any foul, I'd be uber aggressive right here.
Won Jung Lee out there as well. In his first minutes tonight, the sharpshooter. Shot clock down to 6 for Tyler Harvey. Into the lane, he scores! Over the top of Marcus Lee.
And this is the danger with the Hawks. They're so talented offensively. They have a number of guys that can get you in ISO situations. And Harvey, that's a tough shot, Drew. Over the outstretched Marcus Lee's help defense.
This has just been an outstanding response by the Illawarra Hawks. I'm sure they would have had some sleepless nights on what they did. You have a 10-point lead at home, playing some really good basketball at halftime, and just failed to score in the second half. 35 points in the second half for this explosive team. This highlights the challenges they had.
Krebs out for low, time to check the feet. And knock down the 3, Kelsey Brown courtside.
Here down at the Hawks bench, and I want to say they've played 9 players so far as Darius Days gets that 2. 9 players so far. Todd Blanchfield, the only player to not enter the court so far. An interesting one for me. He's played a huge role in the last few games for the Hawkies. Derek, how do you see that one?
Yeah, Kelsey, it's that time of the season where you're doing whatever it takes as Jung Lee fouls Tanner Krebs on the head. But good and accurate reporting, because Blanchfield was a guy, Drewy, that I felt he may have been overplayed in game 1.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that they were at a stage where they were looking for buckets. In the first half, he was lights out, coming off a 28-point game in that game 3 decider against the Phoenix. And he played 24 minutes, still had the 13 points, and was lights out from the three-point line in the first half. And ended up 5 of 12. I'm sure he'll see some time.
It's been a renaissance for Todd Blanchfield, hasn't it? 53% he shot the 3-ball in his last 4 games.
And Jack, Tanner Krebs just continues to provide just solid scoring off the bench for United. Shooting well from the 3.
Final 2 minutes of the first quarter. It's been physical, it's been tense. And we're seeing adjustments on the fly, particularly from the Illawarra Hawks, who lead by 2.
That's your call, Derek. That's what you were referring to.
Yep.
Their hard show, and just needed a little bit of daylight as he splits it. The big fella, Rob Lowe, can't move the feet quick enough, and Kell goes to the ground. They call the foul, and now he walks to the free throw line just to try and help him get himself going.
For the balance of this quarter, that must be their method of attack. Get Rob Lowe into on balls, and then once he steps out hard like that, Kell and Harvey or whoever's coming off that screen, attack his hips, make him move laterally. I guarantee you, Drew, he's either going to let you go by him or commit a foul, as he did in that instance.
Well, with all the subbing that's been going on, Trey Kell, he hasn't come out of the game yet.
Extends their lead to 4. Shaley started out of the game for a while, now back in to finish off this first term. Chris Golding not out there at the moment as well. An offensive foul on Rob Lowe, which, to my eye, gives him 3 fouls.
Well, it does, and just trying to be too aggressive on the post-up. Pushes his way to get to his spot, and there's that man we're talking about, Todd Blanchfield, coming on. Lockie Olbrich goes out, so they go back to this small lineup where they take Olbrich out. And
well, this is a good time for it, Drew, considering the score and the foul and the time situation.
Averaging nearly 16 points in the postseason. Todd Blanchfield has been a huge impact player for the Hawks. Harvey, nice feed inside for Darius Days. He can't run it home off the window. Melbourne almost turned the ball over. Krebs head down, can't score. The Hawks continuing to try and play at a fast tempo. Jung Lee's pass was a little ambitious. United get the ball back. The clock ticks down to 45 seconds before quarter time here at John Cain Arena. Dellavedova swings to a wide open Tanner Krebs.
He's confident.
Great extra pass too, to find the wide open man.
Krebs has 5 points in a short space of time for Melbourne. Kell backing down over the top of Shea Ili. Has had a really good first quarter tonight. That's 10 points.
Well, our guy Damon Lowry will be happy with Trey Kell. Said he loves him when he's playing like he's a star, and he's certainly doing that in this first quarter.
4 seconds to work with for Melbourne. Krebs assesses the situation. A step back 3. Got it! What a start to game 2 at John Cain Arena. This is Championship Series basketball you're witnessing right now. 29 apiece at quarter time. As we head to the break, Tanner Krebs steps up big when it matters most.
at John Cain Arena. It's game 2 of the championship series. Illawarra looking to get one back on the road. Trey Kell turned it around early, 10 points for him in that first quarter, and Tanner Krebs, well, he was a star late in that first quarter as well. I listened in to Dean Vickerman. He said more one-on-one to start this quarter. Got to make sure we take care of our own guy. Too many free throws and not enough foul discipline.
Thank you very much, Kels. Fascinating first quarter. Derek Rucker and Andrew Gaze, what do the numbers look like?
Well, Andrew, Melbourne United 7 of 9 from the three-point line, and in the first quarter they shot it at 35% through the course of the season, so that's a blistering start for them. But also on the downside, 6 turnovers, which has really hurt them in this game, but yet it's a tie.
Yeah, the turnovers is a big one because the way they shot the ball from the three-point line, if that continues, it is going to be a tough night for the Illawarra Hawks. They need to tidy up their work guarding the three-point line. Now, a lot of that is because of the relentless pressure they put on the rim. The defense collapses, and they're so good at finding shooters on the perimeter when that defense does collapse.
Connor Harvey a little slow to work his way into the game. Tanner Krebs is having a real impact here. That's 10 points on 3 of 4 shooting.
Well, he's a skilled guy. He knows what his strength is. That's shooting the basketball, and he does a good job of playing off of that. As you saw him beat Swakala Bullock off the bounce.
Harvey with the lob inside for Froling. That was off. United on a tear, the spin, and the finish. Early timeout, Illawarra. Tanner Krebs taking game 2 apart with 12 points.
Tanner Krebs finding his way early. He's shown signs all throughout the season and in the postseason. But when you knock down a couple of 3 balls, Drewy, it just opens up all of your game.
My word, is it Tanner Krebs or Kawhi Leonard out there tonight? With the spin, the 3 ball, getting to the rim with the floater. He has shown us the complete package. And I think that's what's caused the timeout. Need to put a bit more work into how they're going to guard Tanner Krebs.
Well, we saw it with Marcus Lee in game 1. We saw it with Will Hickey in game 1 as well, Derek. We try that again. We talk so much about the stars, but sometimes it's the role players, it's the depth players that can have a big say.
And I think
with a great performance as well. 33-29 in the Tangerine timeout. I can't talk, so let's hand it over to Kelsey instead.
I'm here with Dave Griffin, Vice President of the New Orleans Pelicans. Dave, I want to know, how exciting is this announcement? The NBA, the NBL, we've got a collaboration happening. The New Orleans Pelicans are coming to Australia.
Well, it was really exciting even before we got to this game. This atmosphere is electric. I'm really looking forward to bringing our team to an atmosphere like this.
I think the big question on everyone's lips is that they want to see the full roster. Is Zion Williamson going to be coming to Australia, and can we see him here in Australia?
Yeah, our plan is to bring everybody, and our plan is that everybody's going to treat this like a meaningful game.
Yeah, we absolutely love what you've done, and I know that you're a big fan of Daly. You're a former GM of the Cavs. Can you talk to us about how good it is to see him out here and playing well in the NBL as well?
I'm just happy that he's healthy now. You know, he went through so many injury issues, and when we won the championship together, he was instrumental in all of that. So to see him now feeling good again and enjoying the game is a lot of fun to watch.
Well, we absolutely love what you've done. We can't wait to see you here in October.
Thank you so much.
Momentous announcement yesterday for Australian basketball. The New Orleans Pelicans are headed to our shores in October. Keep your eyes peeled on the NBL social media to register for tickets. Meanwhile here, Andrew Gaze, the Hawks have got a bit of an issue at the start of this second quarter.
Their defense is breaking down. Dean Vickerman called for one-on-one action, and they're getting it and coming up with some relatively easier scoring opportunities.
Well, they've got to get Sam Froling going. He spent an extended amount of time on the bench in that first quarter, but he's got to be a focus again.
He likes to get to that left hand. The length of Marcus Lee, though, has been an issue for him. Illy downhill. Can't finish off his good work. Bowen kept it alive, and Illawarra have not scored so far in this quarter. Melbourne starting to really take control offensively, but again, they're not finishing off. Harvey in rhythm. He's 2 of 6 for the night so far.
And the scoring slowed down, Andrew.
It is, and that's a tough early shot for Tyler Harvey, but such is the pressure that he has to deal with that he's probably more inclined to take those.
Smart from Hickey. Intelligent play from Will Hickey. He knew that Marcus Lee had the ball in his hand for a while. He snuck up like a librarian.
This is a real concern with Shea Ili. We know he's had some head injuries in the past, and every time he goes down, grabbing his head, oh, it's that little hit there that just might have got him. They're going to check for an unsportsmanlike with the breakaway, and it's going to get it.
So an unsportsmanlike foul called on Shea Ili.
Oh. And he catches the right elbow of Davo Hickey right across the jaw. And Dean Vickerman wants further clarification on the call.
Here's another look at it. Dean Vickerman asking about the elbow.
Yeah. This is an interesting one, Jack, because theoretically he has a point.
So timeout's been called by Melbourne. Confusion reigns here. No challenge.
I don't think you can. I don't think Dean Vickerman could challenge that because there was the foul, and the original foul was called, and then that action followed. So maybe they could. Might be other ways in which you could look at it. So there was the foul they've judged on Ili first, and then the inadvertent elbow. There's no intent. I mean, he got him, and he got him in the head, but Davo Hickey, he wasn't trying. He was just reaching for the ball.
So the unsportsmanlike call will stand. 35-29. Just to recap, scores were level at quarter time. Illawarra, in the first 3 minutes of quarter number 2, have not scored so far. Across the season, they are the #1 offensive team in the competition, Derek. They average 101 points a game throughout this season. They were held to 88 in game 1. And at the start of this second quarter, they've gone a little dry again.
And Trey Kell hasn't been on the floor. He had 10 points in that first quarter, and while he's feeling good, I'd get him back out there, and now he's going to re-enter the game.
And the other thing, too, is that throughout the course of this season, the team that's won the rebound count has had the advantage, and that goes all the way back to the regular season as well. And right now, it's 13-8 in that category in favour of Melbourne United, and only one offensive board for the Illawarra Hawks.
So the Hawks with their first point of the quarter. Kelsey Brown, you listen to Justin Tatum.
I was listening to him. He wants to go straight through Sam Froling like we see here. That's what he said. Get him the ball. He said we've got to play some defense. No doubt about that. But he's happy with the pace that they're playing at. They just want Sam Froling to see more of it.
Well, one of the things that Illawarra will have to display is patience now and keep chipping away, putting pressure on Marcus Lee. If they can get Marcus Lee to commit another foul, Andrew, that's really going to make Dean Vickerman make a big decision about who to play with Rob Lowe currently on 3 fouls.
No, that would be an advantage, and you're right. You'd also you'd think that someone like Lee would understand that as well. As Sam Froling comes up late.
Great hustle.
That's a shank. Hawks get the ball back. So Kel back out there. Olbrich and Froling out there together as well, so the tall timber make it work.
Well, Lee's going to be reluctant to be too aggressive at that end of the floor because he doesn't want to pick up another one, knowing that Lowe has already picked up those 3.
Dellavedova coming to the scorer's table. Golding dumps it off inside. Extra pass from Lee for Bowen. It's unfashionable, but it worked.
Oh, it's also interesting that Jack White has only played 5.5 minutes in the game.
Explore that one in a moment. Harvey for 2 more. Starting to get going now. That's 8 points. Quiet in game one, both he and Trey Kell. We highlighted that pre-game. Golding deep on the three. Ricochets back out. Melbourne can reset. He ran into a brick wall there in Froling. 3 on the shot clock with a hand in the face. Numbers against Trey Kell. The Hawks trail by 2. Kell pulls the trigger and puts them in front.
Nice passage of play from the Hawks since that timeout. And they're back in this ball game in terms of the vibration and the energy they're playing with, Andrew.
Absolutely, and with this lineup on the floor, Todd Blanchfield's got to run around and guard Chris Golding. It's probably not his strength, so it's a chance for Melbourne United to look to Chris Golding a little more.
Little steadier from Ian Clark. It was a 9-2 run Illawarra's way prior to that bucket. The ebbs and flows of this championship series. Less than 5 minutes before halftime. Blanchfield run off the three-point line. Harvey wasn't. That one's not going to go either. Thought about doing it a second time. Froling unselfishly inside to Olbrich. Bowen lost the handle. It fell into the waiting arms of Harvey.
Wow. If you're a Hawks fan, you're liking the way the ball is starting to bounce.
Yeah.
When we look at the Amy replay, no good from Illy, and Kell just playing. He still looks a little bit casual. I know he has that type of approach, but tonight it's a little bit different because he's accurate with his shooting, as he's accumulated 13 points on 4 or 5 shooting.
Momentum with anyone right now?
It's been up and down in this second quarter.
The turnovers from United. That's 8.
Kell for Froling. They've made him a priority in this second quarter. And there is the second foul on Marcus Lee. And the think music begins for Dean Vickerman.
Well, he's going to come back with Jack White. Now, initially, I'm not sure if that sub was for Marcus Lee, but now it will most certainly be for Marcus Lee. And Melbourne United now, ironically, will be forced into small ball.
Here's our Pump by Reebok seats. You can see Socceroos legend Archie Thompson loves his hoops. Taking it in at John Cain Arena. Tully Smythe alongside him too.
And this action that we saw to get Froling to the free throw line has been good for him. The on-ball screen, Melbourne United trying a hard show. And on that single side where you don't have a tagger, he's able to get there. And even if the weak side help comes, the Illawarra Hawks are doing a good job of the extra pass.
Sort of feels like, Derek, for the first time in the series, Illawarra have settled now, and they're starting to get the game looking their way.
Yeah, in the first half of game one, obviously there was a lot of emotions and playing in front of your home crowd as Delhi goes bully ball. So good at that. But now it looks like, Jack, they're playing a style of basketball that can travel and that can win tough games.
Oh, Olbrich plays through Jack White and one.
Size is a problem now, Andrew, for Melbourne United.
It is, and that's Jack White. That's his second as well. I think that's third, sorry. So Dean Vickerman has got some real think time. Jack White hasn't had a lot of opportunity to get into the flow of the game. He's played 6 minutes and really has been unsighted. In fact, he has 2 rebounds, and that's about it as far as stats are concerned.
And Drew, we talk about foul trouble disrupting your flow, and it's a physical thing and it's a mental thing, but you don't have the ability to feel the speed of the game. You don't have any contact for several minutes. It really disrupts you.
Oh, Bowen from outside. That's hit the side of the backboard. That's
well, it came out of the side of his hand.
That stuff doesn't belong in a championship series. Kell can't cash in at the other end. Hawks by 3. Melbourne with foul trouble to negotiate as they head towards half-time. The turnovers continue to be an enormous problem for them.
And they should be out in front, Melbourne United, given that they've made these 7 threes already. but it's been negated by the 9 turnovers, and we know that Illawarra are really good at protecting the basketball.
They only average 11 turnovers a game across the regular season. As Derek just highlighted, they have 9, and it's not even half time yet. It's been a much better performance from Illawarra tonight. And if Tyler Harvey gets going, then they are going to have some real headaches.
And here, big yell from Harvey, and this is what you're seeing when both Harvey and Kell get cooking. Both have 13. They are a collective 9 of 16 from the field, and it is a completely different looking Illawarra Hawks when those two guys are firing together.
Well, you only have to look at Trey Kell's plus-minus. In only 14 minutes, he's a plus 12. When he plays at this level, Andrew, this is when they are the legitimate championship team.
Tangerine timeout. Tyler Harvey, who's been very good tonight, caught up with Kelsey pre-game.
There seems to be a lot of calmness around dropping that first game. No one's panicking. It seems to be a learning experience. How do you rectify it tonight? What are the adjustments that need to be made?
I can't give you all the adjustments, but I think, you know, you can't really panic at this stage. I think they outplayed us game 1, and they deserved to win that game. So it was a tough film session, but you just have to clean up things, and you can't really hang on to it too long. The finals, they go by so fast that if you hang on to it, then you're really going to dig yourself a hole. So we just try to climb out that hole today and go out there and give it a crack.
We saw Tatum go to some small ball. Will we see that throughout the rest of the series as well?
I have no idea. I think we'll find that out tonight.
Well, Tyler Harvey, we see what type of player he can be when he finds his space. And I thought in game 1, he didn't play poorly, Andrew, but he pressed at times, took some shots trying to find his way into the basketball game. Today, some of those shots are going down. Now he can take a few more risks, and that's when Tyler Harvey becomes a really dangerous player.
I love him. I love his game. In fact, you know, we all talk about Bryce Cotton and trying to get him become an Australian so he can be a boomer.
Right.
Hey, Tyler Harvey would not look out of place given what the Boomers and where they're at in a Boomers jersey either, in my humble opinion.
Marcus Lee made it work. Melbourne with a score out of the timeout. They needed that. Cut it back to 4. Kelsey Brown, you were listening in.
I was listening to Dean Vickerman, but I think the biggest thing to note is the bench points. It's currently 26 to 4 points Melbourne United's way. The big thing for me is, does Melbourne United starters need to pick up a little bit more? You've got Illy, you've got Jack White, both on 0 at the moment. This is such a fast contest. I just think the starters for Melbourne United might need to step up a little bit more.
I like this substitution as Trey Kell will get back in the game, and Tatum realizing that Melbourne United have put Marcus Lee back out there. So go with another ball handler and see if you can get some pressure on the rim.
Trolling, Hickey, Kell, Harvey, and Lee out there for Illawarra. Clark, Marcus Lee, as Tyler Harvey scores again over the top of the tall trees.
Best we've ever seen at it in the NBL that I can remember, Derek. Where
I agree.
Those floaters and that touch he has when he's going that hard at the rim, it's preposterous the way he does that.
And enjoyed the use of preposterous in the first half of the championship series as well. Dellavedova.
Oh, it is. It's
left that short.
It's that special.
Krebs. Not that time. Things starting to turn the way of Illawarra, who are down 1-0 in the championship series. On Sunday, we're back at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. Hickey steps in. Rebound Ian Clark.
They needed to exploit that matchup. Clark was on Froling, and Hickey decided to bomb away. Good hustle there from Hickey.
And he actually, it's great hustle, but he probably didn't need it. Chris Golding had quit on the play, and I thought he'd hit that last. Perhaps Hickey not realizing that there was that deflection.
Will Hickey's playing a style of defense that I'd imagine would frustrate Chris Golding. Those sorts of defenders are the ones that can really get under his skin.
This is classic. Going back for the old timers out there, this is Mike Kelly, Darren Lucas type stuff that he's doing, and it's hard work because he's got this physical size as well too,
and length.
And that's what I was talking.
Yeah.
When I said height to deal with that and make make it a real challenge for Chris.
Bucket will be waved away. Nico Fernandez made the call early on Todd Blanchfield for high contact.
Well, there's been a lot of high contact in the game. And neither team is backing down, Andrew. There's no apologies.
Yeah, that one there to me, that's a switch. When you've got Harvey and Blanchfield and those pin downs, just go ahead and switch that.
5 seconds on the clock for Ian Clark. Guarded by Froling, he puts the ball on the floor and goes exploring.
Beautiful move, gets it onto his left hand and finishes it despite the pressure from Froling.
7 points in the first half for him. Illawarra continue to pound it down low to Sam Froling, and it's working for them. The big man stepping up in game 2. He's got 11 and 4 rebounds.
Just keep going at him. The other thing is you want to start to drain Marcus Lee physically. See if he can play these extended minutes. Well, that was a poor decision to come out of the corner anyway by Harvey. It would have potentially left Ian Clark wide open.
It's their second foul of the quarter of the Illawarra Hawks.
And a first foul on Harvey, but he gets a spell.
Andrew, Melbourne had 29 at the quarter. The Hawks have reduced them to only 16.
Yeah, it's been a turnaround, and that Melbourne United throughout the course of the season have had these moments where scoring can be more of a challenge, and usually their defense is so elite that they can cover for it. But in this quarter here, the Illawarra Hawks have been good.
Nice pass inside for Lee. Much better offensive set for Melbourne United. A timeout called by the Hawks. They want one last chance to draw something up.
Outstanding offense, and Clark was really instrumental in game 1 in getting Lee off, and there's no difference here. Lee has not missed a shot yet in this series, Jack. 7 of 7 in game 1, 3 of 3 this evening.
Well, if he keeps getting them like that, he won't miss.
Fair point.
So 10.5 seconds left. Of course, as I mentioned, game 3 on Sunday. We're back at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. Slightly later start, 5:30 p.m. So, of course, stay online and check the NBL social media, which you should do anyway. Stay up to date with all the latest news and information, the behind-the-scenes content. Derek Rucker's player ratings at the end of each game.
Yeah,
it's coming back tomorrow. All the good stuff, it's all there.
Drew, right here with 10.5 left. Would you push it hard and get a dump down into Froling in the paint, or would you try and free your guards up, Keller, Harvey, to make a play?
I'm going at the rim. You know, fouls have become a significant issue for Melbourne United. So I want to try and put them into a situation where they've got to defend. Don't just settle. Now, that's easier said than done. Very small lineup that comes out on the floor for Melbourne United.
And Melbourne United, you cannot leave Todd Blanchfield in this instance.
The Hawks looking to take it the full end of the floor. Finish the halftime with a major blow. Look how easy Hickey got to the basket. Can't score. Golding had Clark, who snuck up ahead at the buzzer. Super high game IQ from first Chris Golding, then Ian Clark. It's a 2-point game at the main break.
Well, I thought he could have laid it up. He actually went a little early, but still nothing but the bottom of the net, and a disastrous finish for the Illawarra Hawks. That should never have happened. Hickey should have made the layup, but it was very early on, and Melbourne took advantage of it.
Kelsey Brown is over there with Sam Froling.
Hi, Sam, how have you seen that first half? You got out to a nice lead, but let them creep back in a little bit later in that second quarter?
Yeah, just a few little breakdowns like that last one, no one getting back. A couple in the first quarter, but 49 points is too many for them.
For you personally, you've been aggressive offensively. You've got their bigs in foul trouble. Lowe's on 3, Marcus Lee's on 2, Jack White's on 3 as well. Has that been a point for you?
Yeah, we know we have an advantage inside, so that's what we're looking for.
We absolutely love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Great first half from Sam Froling, 11 points to go with 4 rebounds. Up next, with thanks to basketball.com.au, the Motley Crew, Felix, Copes and Hools are back next. This is game 2 of the Championship Series.
Stark and an excellent catch. Cottons up to 39. Kings have had enough.
Take your game from the local court to the big time. Step onto an NBL court after the final buzzer. Backing local ballers is just the beginning.
Welcome back to John Cain Arena. A 2-point lead for the Illawarra Hawks, and a late bucket from Ian Clark just creeps them ever closer. The Hawks right now bringing it. But Leonard Copeland, Peter Hooley, the story of this second half is going to be the foul trouble that Melbourne United currently find themselves in.
It is for sure. I mean, you have a look at the halftime stats, and the three-point line is what kept Melbourne United in it, because I thought the Illawarra Hawks were outstanding in the way they kept poised, as we spoke about before the game, and put heat on the rim. Both Harvey and Kell, they got deep, but geez, there was a lot of whistles in that first half, which meant that Melbourne United had to sit some guys down in foul trouble. And I love the coaching tactic from Justin Tatum. He went ultra big when the bigs from Melbourne were in trouble.
And that's going to help him. These guys are in foul trouble. Low with 3, I think White has 3. You know, so these guys are in foul trouble. You got to go big, get that ball inside, and not depend on the three-point line.
Well, we spoke in the pre-game. We got the yo-yo for Illawarra. Trey Cal, he plays bad, he plays good, and it was all pointing towards playing good tonight. And the Hungry Jacks highlights you see, he's bringing his A game.
He's been terrific. I mean, you take away that one transition 3 that he hit with the momentum, but he's doing this. He's getting to his spots, and he's not playing rushed. Even right here, look at that. He's got Flynn Cameron. That's pretty good defense, but he took his time. He took a deep breath. Another post up. I know you lick your lips, Copes, when you see big guards post up, but he gets there, and he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. He uses that big body. And Harvey's been tough as well. These two guys had to play well to be in this game, and they've come out and showed how good they are.
Well, that's what we said in the pre-game. For Illawarra Hawks, the wish list was their 2 all-NBL first-team guards to bring it in this one. It was Trey Kell early and Tyler Harvey late, and it's exactly what they need.
Tyler Harvey's been terrific as well. And again, it's no surprise, but your all-NBL first team is your superstars have to stand up if you want to win a championship. Yes, they've got a phenomenal bench. You look at his Blackmore shot chart, 1 of 3 from deep, but look at the heat, the pressure he's putting on the rim. That floater's money. That floater's a layup wherever it is on the floor.
Lynette Copeland, 12 shots as well in this first half, on track for 24. Do you like what you said? I know you love the shot.
Hey, that is perfect. 12's not enough. Get it up, big fella. You're leading this team, and that's what he has to do.
For Melbourne United, it was Marcus Lee in game 1. We didn't expect that. And it's Tanner Krebs in game 2 at the moment. The X Factors are stepping up for United.
We spoke about it on overtime. Tanner Krebs has just been quietly putting together a phenomenal postseason. This has been the most impactful by far, but he's knocking down buzzer beaters, crucial threes. That one was on the quarter-time buzzer. He's getting some heat in the paint and getting his nice little floater to go. But this is what Tanner Krebs does. He's thriving with the opportunity, and not just in this game, but probably the last 3 games, it's been a timely contribution.
Absolutely, and they've been tough. They scored 34-5 off the bench, and that's Tanner Krebs and Ian Clark. When those guys can get going, you can help the other guys in this game.
Well, Melbourne United with foul trouble to sort out in the second half. A 2-point lead to the Illawarra Hawks. Second half up next.
The Hungry Jacks NBL Final Series is here. To celebrate, the NBL and Mitsubishi are giving you the chance to win a brand new Mitsubishi ASX. Enter now at nbl.com.au/car for your chance to win.
the ball. Look up when we get stopped. Let's go. Defense, let's go.
I think JT's greatest asset is just he lets his players play. He lets us be ourselves out there on the court.
Don't settle. Don't settle. Let's go. I got you. Keep playing. Keep playing.
The difference with JT is he can find a genuine connection with anyone, you know? And it doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel forced.
He wants the best for us, and you can definitely sense the genuineness of when he says that.
We all want to win for him, and when you have a team that wants to win for a coach, that's a dangerous team.
What an incredible impact Justin Tatum has made since he was installed as coach in the middle part of last season. Took them to the semi-finals last year, championship series this year. He's the coach of the year. You heard Will Hickey say that he's got a connection with his players like no other. The turnaround of this organisation since Justin Tatum has been installed as coach has been simply remarkable.
It has, and you can see how well he learns what's going on. He's made great adjustments in this game to figure out how to keep his team competitive. And Andrew, they were very competitive and good in that first half.
Yeah, Justin Tatum's been spectacular, but also give a lot of credit to Matty Campbell and the team in the way they've been to assemble this team. Every position they've got coverage, and they seem to be so well connected and enjoying yourself. Now that's a lot easier to do when you only lose 9 games in a season, but you still got to be able to put it all together. Tones and I.
Well, there's only a handful of tickets left for this game tonight. Tones and I never misses a game. Danny Minogue always at Melbourne United home games as well. There's Husey, Dave Thornton alongside him as well, two of the funniest men in Australia. Beck Allen, part of our team. She's a WNBA star as well with the Phoenix Mercury. Christian Petrarca from the Melbourne Football Club. They play their first game of the season this weekend as well. And Peter Siddle, who's done some wonderful things for both Australian, Victorian and Tasmanian cricket, also here tonight as well. All the stars are in the house. Derek Rucker even skipped Glamour on the grid to be here tonight.
Well, yeah, I had some nice ticks ready to go too, Jack.
Good to have you with us, and great to have you with us wherever you are around the world. Quarter number 3, game 2 of the championship series, and a pristine offensive set to start with by Melbourne.
And again, like in game 1, Dean Vickerman has changed his lineup to start this half with Lee and Bowen starting. And a lot of this is due to foul trouble.
Daly not out there, which is interesting. We'll keep an eye on that one shortly. Harvey a long way from the basket and a long way from the cup. Tyler Harvey from Swan Street.
Well, it's a junk play, but just the brilliance of Tyler Harvey was able to bail them out. Not a lot of ball movement. I don't mind the ISO with Trey Curl, but when he's playing with his food out the top for that time, it allows Melbourne United to really establish their weak side help and makes it a whole lot tougher for him.
Golding started the game hot, then went a little quiet. Trey Curl comes up with the rebound.
And only Golding and Dellavedova are starting this half from the original lineup as Harvey, feeling himself, decides to let that one go early in transition, and Golding's going to be called for a foul.
Kelsey Brown, what's happening with Shea Illy?
Well, yeah, we often see Dean Vickerman change up his lineup, but I think Ian Clark has come into this one because Shea Illy is in no sight on the bench. He's behind closed doors. He hasn't come out from halftime, so I'll keep an eye on that. It could be something to do with that stray elbow we saw from Will Hickey earlier in the game.
Change for Melbourne to start the third quarter, a necessary one. Sam Froling continues to take this game by the scruff of the neck.
And he's added that little movement, Andrew, where he turns and just fades away a little bit, and he started to develop the nice touch to be able to make that shot.
Clark almost lost the handle. Shot clock ticks down to 8 from deep. Doesn't go. We've only been going 2 minutes, but this Illawarra Hawks team looked absolutely locked in coming out of the halftime tunnel.
That's a flop. That should be a foul, too. He grabbed him as well. And, Drewy, I said to you off camera before this second half tip that I would like to see Froling and Olbrich play more minutes together, and Olbrich gets to start this half instead of Peatling. Froling.
Well, that's a flop, and then you see the right hand just grab the hip of Froling, and so this is trouble all over the joint for Melbourne United now because that's Marcus Lee's third personal foul.
3 fouls for Marcus Lee, 3 fouls for Rob Lowe, 3 fouls for Jack White.
And as long as we are talking in threes, Jack, Froling has 16, Kell has 13, Harvey has 18. The 3 MVPs are right into the series now.
Rob Lowe coming to the scorer's table. Golding threw a bullet inside. Harvey gets Kyle Bowen on the arm.
It's the hockey assist. We saw it earlier when there's the hard show. That time of game, it's the extra pass out of the on-ball screen. And Illawarra have mixed it up. They've switched a lot.
They have.
And just trying to find that balance.
And it's interesting, Andrew, with Lowe, and Lee, both with 3 fouls. Dean Vickerman obviously is determined that Rob Lowe is the dispensable one.
Dispensable or expendable, same thing. I guess.
Whichever one, I don't want to be that guy. We'll throw you out the front line and let you take the grenades.
I think you're taking a very harsh view.
What are you talking about? How else am I supposed to interpret it?
This is a critical stage of the game. They're down 6, so he still has very much good faith in him. Clark gets called for going through the screen rather than around the screen.
It's been a more physical game too. Has that suited Illawarra a little bit more because they are a bigger lineup?
Well, I don't know that they play a more physical brand of basketball, and if you asked me coming into the game who would it have suited better, I would have said United.
Yeah. The only thing is the way that the game's been, it's just the foul trouble now for United that's causing them all sorts of problems. But you're right, that physical stop-start sort of game is normally what would favour United.
Great pass from Froling. Harvey can't get it to fit.
Clark off the glass. Pure class. He was the spark for them in Game 3 of the semi-final series against Perth. He could be the spark here tonight.
Here they go with their floppy action again. They've been running a lot of it in the postseason.
Froling gets to the left hand, forced to change direction. We've had a couple of defensive wins in a row, Melbourne. Dellavedova had his pocket pick. Excellent work from Trey Kell. Tip in doesn't go, and that will be an Illawarra ball from the baseline. Kelsey Brown.
Yes, guys, Chili's back out on the sidelines. He's got his top on, though, and Pete, Hooley and I were just standing here saying it doesn't look that convincing.
Big block from Krebs. And then another foul on Melbourne.
Whoa.
Well, they got caught out because Dean Vickerman was trying to call a timeout. He wanted to challenge the out-of-bounds call, and they were caught out on defense. And, well,
it's 4 now on Rob Lowe.
That's his 4th, and as Derek alluded to,
maybe not with the greatest amount of diplomacy or etiquette.
Etiquette's a good word. Or lack of. So we get what you're saying. Froling misses both free throws.
Lane violation.
Oh, it's a head fake on the Burgers. It's a head fake for the fans on the Burgers.
That's not fair.
There was a lane violation. They can smell the barbecue, and they just now have to wait and hope that Froling misses another one.
You can't do them like that.
And Jack Cowan, he breathes a sigh of relief as the state of Victoria are yet to receive free cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
No little throwdown on the way home for Andrew Gaze.
Not yet anyway, but Melbourne are vulnerable now on the defensive end.
Hawks by 5. Dan Greeder out there to try and create a bit of carnage. Golding blocked by Froling. Spiked that one out of the air. The Hawks mean business in this third quarter at both ends of the floor.
And that's where they're at their best. In transition, they're able to get to the paint and Trey Kell in this type of form, he's one of the toughest in the competition.
Back out for Tanner Krebs. It was huge for Melbourne in that first half. Shot clock at 3. Dellavedova steps in and shot it like he meant it.
And that's what Matthew Dellavedova does. He doesn't shoot a great percentage, but seemingly when United need it most, he's capable of knocking them down. Olbricht's in him.
Been in the key for a long time.
Here's the aiming replay of Matthew Dellavedova. When you least expect it, he can come out and knock it down. Right-hander shoots from the left ear, but still able to knock it down. And down the other end, Lockie Olbrich was in the paint a long time, but it took a long time for the whistle, so
it did.
I think it evened itself out in the end.
And Illawarra have a significant edge in the free throws. And these bigs are going to have to make critical free throws down the stretch in order to win this game.
Only a 55% free throw shooter for the season, Lockie Olbrich. Still no burgers for the home fans. Biggest lead in the game for Illawarra has been 8. Melbourne's biggest lead has been 6. It paints the picture of how close game 2 has been here at John Cain Arena. Golding looking to be a difference maker. Hasn't quite hit the same success tonight. He's 2 of 6 now from long range.
It's a good effort just to hold him to only 6 field goal attempts.
And there's not much that Marcus Lee can do, and Sam Froling exploiting them in a big way. He's the game-high leader now with 19 points.
Well, they rely so much on Lee to do so many things on the defensive end, and he's limited at the moment as Kell gets away. Should that be unsportsmanlike, Drew?
Well, I don't know who's going to be on. Was it the offensive push-off, or was it Flynn Cameron?
Was there a push?
I think there was a defender in front. Was there a defender in front who might have been level?
Well, they're checking for a breakaway foul. Let's look at the levels here.
See, that's why I thought it might have actually been on Kell. You saw the push-off. Certainly from that angle, it looked like he pushed off. They're not checking that, though. They're checking whether it's unsportsmanlike. And they've given it. See, there's
well, he reaches in early, Drew, and gets across him. Right there. It's soft, but it's contact. You know how it is when we go to the review or the check for an upgrade.
Yeah, and there was another defender. They must have just been marginally behind, I assume.
Well, Illawarra are starting to build on their marginal lead. It's now up to 9 points, and they'll get possession of the basketball. And make no mistake about it, they've been the better team tonight, Andrew. In that first half, they were dominant. They were in the lead for 11.5 minutes, but the critical end of the first half got Melbourne United back in the game.
Jack White, another out there with 3 fouls, so he's restricted. Illawarra are taking Melbourne apart down low.
And they got foul issues, and you can't be silly about it, but that was just a little too passive by White. When you've got foul problems, prevention's better than cure. Don't play behind, half run it, try and push him off the box.
Well, Drew, he's probably not warm. He's barely played tonight.
Well, he needs to get warm. Golding with a tough one in the corner.
I'd like it if he could start getting hot. Marcus Lee takes care of the rebound. Smart from Will Hickey. He's done a lot of little things tonight that have been important, including that. The Hawks just slow the tempo down, and only for a few moments. Kell cuts his way through. He left that one short.
Well, they found a set that they can utilize to get a good look and get Lee into an on ball.
Golding blocks. Illegally.
Wow. This is going to, Will Hickey's begging for a review.
Well,
Tatum.
This is going to be a close one, Andrew.
Well, they're checking. Justin Tatum's checking on who the actual foul was called on because he wasn't sure. And if they've called it...
Well, Golding rushed that first free throw just then.
If they called it on Curl, there's no chance it's a foul, and they've decided not to challenge.
We missed the first Chris Golding because he rushed to try and avoid a coach's challenge.
It is, and when you look at the difference between game 1 and 2, and it's more than just two players, but you look at Kel and Harvey, they had 15 points in total in game 1 combined, and so far in this one, with 3.5 remaining in the third, they're up to 35.
They've won their last 15, Illawarra, when they allow less than 90 points. Breeder might have got away with a travel and scores.
Well, he may have even been fouled at the end there, Jack, but nice set there from the Hawks.
71-63, game 2 of the championship series. On Sunday, we're back at the Wynn Entertainment Centre for game 3. Flynn Cameron to the rack.
Well, you got to sit on his left hand in that instance if you're Sam Froling and not let him get to the strong side. An outstanding finish there by Flynn Cameron. Tough move when he raises up like that.
It is, and showing great maturity. A DNP coach's decision in game 1. And he's got 7 points, much needed, on a perfect 3 of 3 from the field. Still only played almost 6 minutes in the contest.
And Jack, when you look at game 1, it was a matter of 3 scoring runs, 2 by Illawarra, and the devastating one was made by Melbourne United. At the end of the third quarter and into the fourth quarter, they outscored Illawarra 24-9, and that was decisive. So whoever puts together a late run is going to be the one that gets this basketball game.
Melbourne outscored Illawarra 32-21 in game 1. That was the difference between the two.
I don't love how Illawarra is functioning on the offensive end, Andrew. No. It seems like it should be a lot more crisp and sharp, leading to better shots, given the troubles Melbourne have with fouls.
No, you're spot on. And it's just got although they got the lead, it's got a hint of a look of the second half in game 1.
Oof. 6 on the clock for Trey Kell. Has Olbrich rolling to the basket. Big finish from the youngster.
It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. And Olbrich plays with such energy when he attacks the basket. Great pass from Trey Kell.
Yeah, it was. And the decision by Trey Kell. You know, he's got his game going, and sometimes he can get a little ISO ball, and that time there in the pick and roll made a really good decision.
That should stay with Illawarra, I think.
It should.
Jump ball.
Possession arrow will be with the Hawks all the same. Trey Kell has bounced back hard tonight, 17 points. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. He is a +16 for the evening.
And Illawarra, to some extent, Andrew, have been a bit too conservative, I feel, from the three-point line. They've only taken 11 at the moment, and they're one of the best shooting teams we have in the competition.
Yeah, that's true, but I think that they also appreciate the foul trouble Melbourne United are in and really trying to attack the rim.
Cal leaves one behind there, but Hickey with another steal. Hwan-Jung Lee steps back out for 3.
Oh.
And it counts.
I think it was actually tipped by
Well, is that a 3 or a 2, Jack? That's a 2 they've ruled.
Yep. Well, Lee hit it in.
That's interesting.
It is that sort of night for Illawarra. That looked at shortly as well. 65-75 is the score that we're going with right now. Final 2 minutes of the third term. Melbourne with their backs against the wall. They turn to Ian Clark. Get Gets himself on the line, but Kelsey Brown, we have not seen Shea Ili in this third quarter.
No, he made a short appearance on the bench, but he's gone back of house again. He's watching the game, as I've heard, from a computer screen at the moment, but because of those concussion symptoms that he has over his career, they're keeping him out for the game. They said it's just precautionary at the moment, but that is something to keep an eye on for the rest of the season, but he will not return to the court tonight.
Oh, it'll be great work, Kels. It'll be really interesting to see how this is. I mean, if this is ruled as a concussion, then that is the series over for Shea Ili.
Well,
given his history and given the protocols.
And I think full credit to Melbourne United. I'm sure Shea Ili is probably thinking, no, I can push on. But full credit to their staff to making a really difficult decision and obviously putting the players' health and safety first and foremost.
The twists and the turns and the drama of a championship series here in the NBL. Ulbrich ultra aggressive on Marcus Lee, just creates enough room to help himself to a bucket underneath.
And he's been really active and effective. We know what his potential is, and he's showing it when the lights are the brightest.
Back to that equal game high lead of 11 points for the visitors. Late clock for Dellavedova. Days was excellent. Delhi with one last chance. That won't count.
Oh, talk about Illawarra sometimes looking a little clunky. This has been really clunky for Melbourne United with what they're doing on the offensive end.
The impact of Lockie Ulbrich. He's been touted as one of the most talented young players in the country. He's just 20 years of age, but his stat line tonight, Drury and Derek, 7 points plus 21. His impact has been profound.
And
except for that time.
He gets an unlucky one to go against him there, and I don't like the call, Andrew. What did he do?
Nothing. I think he stayed in his plane. To me, that's a... And that looked like a bad call. Now, if he steps out and blocks, but he just...
Well,
he just took the hit and rolled with the hit.
I agree. And his play today has actually moved Peatling to basically being disposable. He's only played 4 minutes, Peatling, and he's been outstanding this season. And Justin Tatum rolling with those guys that are getting the job done.
Only 8 minutes for Todd Blanchfield tonight as well. Justin Tatum making some adjustments from game one. The home fans stand on their feet. Nearly 10,000 in the house. They need to lift their team, and Dellavedova trying to do exactly that. Wow. He takes it up the other end. How good was that from Will Hickey?
Outstanding move from Hickey. Right back at you. I see hits one early in transition. I didn't think it was a great shot, but I think Melbourne United, Delhi and Clark in particular, feel that they are down and vulnerable, and they've got to find early offense when possible.
No, they do, and a couple of really important buckets here down the stretch to just keep Melbourne United in touch.
The biggest lead in the game, Illawarra, has been 11. This last possession, as we head towards three-quarter time, is a monumental one in the context of game two.
You see at the top of your screen, you see how they're top blocking Tyler Harvey? They're doing that a lot, and that's where you're vulnerable for a back cut.
Hickey has a fumble for three. Got it! Will Hickey gets it to drop and silences John Cain Arena. Lands a big, big blow on the stroke of three-quarter time. And it's the Hawks who lead 82-71 as that ball felt like it hung on the rim for an eternity.
You're back with the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's game 2 of the championship series. That quarter swayed all the way of the Illawarra Hawks until a late surge from Melbourne United. It's 11-point lead for the visitors at that break. A huge final quarter ahead. Derek, I want to know, can United claw this one back, or the Illawarra Hawks make it 1-1?
Well, they're going to need a performance, Kelsey, even better, Andrew, than I believe they put on in the fourth quarter down in Wollongong. As we look at Jack White, currently a forlorn figure. Andrew, he's 0 of 0 from the field.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's a byproduct of the fouls that he's had to deal with. And also, they haven't really run too much for him. Well, there's a nice play to start the half. A good old-fashioned simple flex cut. Good evening, Trevor Gleeson. And it's a wide open bucket.
Foul trouble has been one of the stories of the night for Melbourne. Tyler Harvey, successful there. Has 18 points, 43% shooting from the field. Different lineup out there for Melbourne right now. Clark. Look at the first 30 seconds of the fourth quarter from Melbourne. Justin Tatum has seen enough, and John Cain Arena comes alive. It's 82-76.
Ian Clark feeling the moment. Takes a tough three ball in transition and knocks it down. He's reading the room, Andrew. He knows his guys are down. He's got guys in foul trouble. Shea Illy isn't even on the bench. Somebody's going to have to step up, take the reins, and try and steer this baby home.
No, it is. And the Illawarra Hawks, that they were able to establish this lead with some really good offense, but defense, but primarily it was their offense. They've been able to keep that scoreboard ticking over and keep a nice buffer. And now with the game getting a little tighter, and with the home fans starting to get a little more rowdy, the pressure on the Illawarra Hawks begins to mount.
Melbourne have got it back to 6. They trail by 11 at three-quarter time. And game 3, we are headed back to the Wynn Entertainment Centre with thanks to basketball.com.au. A later start, as we mentioned earlier, because of the Formula One Grand Prix, Derek. Are we heading back at 1-1?
I believe so, Jack. I think, oh, well, maybe I want to take that back. I'll take it back again. But look, Illawarra have done a fantastic job performing far better than I thought as we go through just...
What is going on out here?
A series of careless turnovers.
Cue the Benny Hill music. Kel gave up his look for Swakala Bullock.
Massive.
All's well that ends well.
Massive. It just eases the tension a little bit in the Illawarra Hawks in just a remarkable set of turnovers. And as the game got a little tight there, it just starts to put a lot more pressure on Illawarra with this raucous home crowd as Clark reignites the pressure.
He's got that look in the eye, Ian Clark. It's a look that Perth Wildcats fans know all about when he took them apart with 38 points in Game 3 of the semi-final series. He's got 23 tonight. Low out there with 4 fouls. Froling continues to exploit that matchup.
Barbecue chicken down in there. Rob Lowe can't do much right now with Sam Froling. A, Froling's confident and got his game going, and then B, Lowe has those 4 fouls.
Just feel like that Illawarra needs to keep that scoreboard ticking over, because I just feel that Melbourne, you have a little bit more confidence in Melbourne United's defense.
Kel threw it cross court for Swakala Bullock, not that time. Hawks crash the glass and get another look at things. And Kel will be at the charity stripe.
Oh, big offensive rebound. Outstanding effort from Trey Kell to get that ball back and draw the foul on Dellavedova. And we mentioned it before, but free throw shooting is going to be big for the Hawks down the stretch. They've done a great job in getting to the line 24 times, plus these 2. They've attempted 26 free throws already.
When Trey Kell scores 20 points or more this year, Drewy, they are 9-2 coming into tonight.
Yeah, and you just feel like they dodged a bullet. They got cut to 6, come out from a timeout, and 2 sloppy turnovers that could have led to uncontested layups. And fortunately for them, they were able to come back and make a couple of big buckets.
88-79. Golding crosses over the top of Froling. He's so good.
Well, by any means necessary, Illawarra needs to avoid getting into that matchup. You got to fight over that screen.
For anyone else in the competition, that was probably a poor shot, but not for Chris Golding.
He's been lights out throughout the playoff series. Clark blocks the shot of Harvey. Swakala Bullock goes down off the ball. Krebs for Dellavedova. 3 points separate these two teams. Here comes the run from Melbourne.
Outstanding decision by Tanner Krebs to find Dellavedova.
Now it's the Hawks who need a bucket. Kell almost turns it over. Shot clock down to 7. Lee guarding with one hand tied behind his back. Froling over the top. Huge. Big time from Sam Froling.
As discussed, Froling needs to come up with critical buckets in crunch time and in this fourth quarter.
23 points on his night. Momentum with Melbourne right now. Ian Clark will step to the line to shoot 3 free throws. And he's lifting his team when it matters.
It is, and when the Illawarra Hawks have not been able to get out and run, the last few possessions for the bulk of this fourth quarter, they've been locked into a half-court game. Yeah, they've been able to make some shots, but it hasn't looked smooth. It's required good individual brilliance. There's Melbourne United pushing the ball down and getting some easier basket. Hey, this is going to be great, Jack.
It's going to be fun.
NBA, the New Orleans Hornets coming to
Pelicans even?
New Orleans, I'm going back a while there. New Orleans Pelicans coming to Australia. That is going to just be fantastic to see them go up against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix and Melbourne United.
Yeah, from Dave Griffin early in the night. Swin Cash, one of the legends of women's basketball, who's in the front office at the Pelicans. She's sitting courtside tonight as well.
Yep.
Never mind about her work in the front office. One of the greatest basketball players to grace this planet. A couple of gold medals along the way, a couple of NCAA tournament wins. Ian Clark getting a spell, and I don't think he's going to be on that pine for very long.
26 points. He's taken his tally too. 6 minutes remaining. The noise inside John Cain Arena is deafening right now. Harvey silences them for a moment.
Strong move by Tyler Harvey getting to the rack. And this is on the end where Illawarra can win the game. The offense is going to be the offense, but they need to accumulate stops.
Darius Day is coming to the scorer's table. Dellavedova has 12 points of his own, including a big knockdown 3. Last trip down the floor. But speaking of big 3s, it's not that time for Golding. It catches an Illawarra hand.
And Dave Hickey is still down on the court.
Justin Tatum complaining because he thought it was the kick out by Chris Golding. Look at the replay. No, he didn't kick out. In fact, there
looked like a lot of contact from Hickey. He may have gotten away with one.
Hawks by 4. Dellavedova got away from Greeter. Golding steps back, and you know what happens next.
They went to the Spain action, and Hickey helped out off Chris Golding in one of the most crucial parts of the game. You just don't do that.
The lead is now just 1. The Hawks' advantage has evaporated before their very eyes. Harvey no good. Melbourne look to take the lead back. This trip down the floor. As Hickey and Golding get caught up.
Days pushed Golding, and when he pushed him, He went straight into Hickey. See, there's the Spain action. Hickey just leaves Chris Golding. And that's not in the scouting report, Derek. That's just in the heat of the moment, a breakdown in the situation. And for the easiest three Chris Golding's had all game. Have a look at Dace, right of your screen, pushes Golding. A hint of a flop by Golding.
Wow. This game has really picked up here as we're midway through the fourth quarter. Melbourne United stringing together defensive stops, coupled with Ian Clark igniting them offensively, and Chris Golding coming alive again.
Yeah, it is. At this stage of the game, and with the game on the line, you can't have mental breakdowns on Chris Golding. You've got to be locked into him. And I'd almost say the same when it comes to Clark, who's been superb in this one as well, with the 26 points, 9 of 14, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Clark has been spectacular. Chris Golding, 50% from the three-point line. 5 of 12 overall, but 50% from the three-point line in this one here. And they've been much needed.
Hawks led by 11 at three-quarter time. Melbourne have hit back in a big way in this fourth quarter and trailed by just one. That was not the possession they were looking for out of the timeout, but it was for Illawarra.
Strong take there on the break by Lee. Gets the lead out to 3 after the Golding turnover.
What a momentum shift we've seen in this last term. Turn it over off target, Ian Clark at the scorer's table with 26 points. Ready to come back in. Harvey, no good. Hickey ripped it out of the arms of Olbrich. Back out for Cal. And a foul off the ball as well. Kelsey Brown, you were listening in the timeout.
I was listening to the Hawks, and Justin Tatum just kept reiterating, we are fine, we're not going to give this up, but we've got to protect the ball. We're giving it away far too easily. But I must say, guys, the body language on this bench is a little bit eerie. They're a little bit shell-shocked, I think, at the moment with the run from this experienced United team.
Well, it was an off-the-ball foul on Chris Golding, was it?
That's his third.
And there's just a big scrum in the paint.
22 fouls to 14 for the night. As we mentioned earlier, though, a lot of those for Melbourne are self-inflicted. Off the inbound, Hickey finds Harvey, and that will incense Dean Vickerman.
Quick whistle, Drew. Nico Fernandez strong with it, and he saw contact, and Harvey will go to the line to shoot 2. Is Illawarra just trying to get a bit more breathing space?
Yeah, they need it. Based on what the momentum's been these last 3 or 4 minutes in particular.
Harvey, Lee, Kell, Hickey and Olbrich, the 5 out there for Illawarra. Dellavedova, White, Clark, Lee and Golding for Melbourne. 19 of 28 from the free throw line tonight, the Hawks. They've left a few points on the line. Golding searching for space, decides to head inside. Little dump off for Marcus Lee. He'll go to the line to shoot an extra.
Great penetration there from CG43. And he gets Lee a little bunny, dunks it with an and-one opportunity.
Yeah, it is, and so Harvey, as you mentioned, can't keep Chris Golding in front. And such is how tight you've got to play him, but it's a nice drop-off pass for Lee.
Well, when Golding has it in his left hand outside the three-point line, his step-back three ball is so deadly that guys have to get up on his hip in case he goes to it, and then that's where he gets you. When he pockets that ball in his left hand, it opens up his penetration as the defender lifts his hips.
It's been a superb shooting night for Melbourne United in total. The three-point line has kept them in the game. 15 to 28. And you can appreciate why the Illawarra Hawks are going to be tight trying to cover that three-point line.
Late clock for Kell, just 3 seconds. Dellavedova, an absolute terrier.
Terrific hands there from Dellavedova.
Only 1 second, 1.3 seconds left on the shot clock.
I think they're going to look at it. .4.
A little extra for the Hawks. Still take something pretty special from here. Harvey falling away. He ends up in the front row. 2 points the difference. Clark doesn't get it to hit.
Good look. Great closeout by Froling.
Trey Kell gave up the three. Hits inside, little tip in. That misses as well. Wanjung Lee with an offensive rebound. Their 13th of the night.
Jack White is vehement. He did not touch Lee on that putback. Melbourne United are having a look at it.
Remember early on in the game we spoke about the advantage that Melbourne United was having on the boards, and this time here we have a look at the replay. Oh, who was the foul called on?
Jack White.
Yep. So confirmation, the foul will be on White, and Dean Vickerman, with 3 minutes left, wants to use his coach's challenge.
And this is a tough one. A lot of bodies in there.
Gee, from that overhead angle, maybe here. Have a look.
There's contact there from Golding, but I'm not sure.
That's the contact.
Right, did he get him on the? Did he get him?
Yeah.
Did Jack White get him on the chin or the chest?
The chin or the chest, maybe. But from
But
this
that angle looks like
it
there's
doesn't look like
distance.
he hit it. So, yeah, they might be successful on this one. Earlier on, I thought it was a foul on Golding that they didn't call.
Which I think is what Melbourne were checking, Drewy, just to make sure if the foul was on Golding, I think they were happy to let it go.
Yeah, I can't see a foul on Jack White there, can you, Truck?
This is a really tough one.
Coach's challenge successful.
Wow, that's how close it can be, because it certainly looked like Chris Golding made contact.
Scott Butler in the replay centre.
Good evening, everybody. So the foul was called on Jack White, so number 14. So we're looking for illegal contact. It was a hands foul on the shooter. That's the call. There is no illegal contact by Jack White on the play. Because the shot misses, we walk to the centre circle and dump the ball up.
Thank you very much, Scott. As the drama builds here at John Cain Arena.
Big jump ball here, Andrew.
Yeah, every possession in this last 3 minutes is going to be critical.
Oh, now Jack White will actually pick up the foul, Jack, and that will be number 4.
He has had an absolute nightmare tonight, Jack White, in game 2.
He just hasn't been able to get into the game. No field goal attempts, 0 for 0. That one he just stumbled and he was out of control. There was no intent, but he couldn't get out of the way.
And now Melbourne United have to have very good defensive discipline. Any more fouls, and Illawarra is going to the line to shoot 2.
Still a long way to go, too. A little under 3 minutes in game 2. Melbourne lead the series 1-0. Hickey inside for Froling, who had great position. couldn't get it first time, still hunting after it. Bodies go down everywhere. Desperation right across the floor, and it's a Melbourne ball.
Gee, that was almost a similar play to Jack White. This time it's Matthew Dellavedova diving on the ball, and Chris Goulding takes out Froling. So I don't know why that's not a foul on Matthew Dellavedova. He just takes out the legs of Sam Froling.
I hear you, and perhaps it was because the ball was loose, but I side more with you. It looks like he... Exactly.
Melbourne's turn to tie it up or take the lead off this possession. Goulding got open.
Oh, my.
The Hawks dodge a bullet. A significant one.
Big time. He had a great look at it with his feet set in rhythm.
And Chris Goulding's that type of guy. His feet can be all over the shop, and he's still able to get quality shots off.
Illawarra again forced to go right to the end of the shot clock. It'll have to be Will Hickey. It's just starting to get a little messy for the Hawks as they nurse this 2-point lead. Dellavedova ties it up.
We've seen it many times in clutch situations. Dellavedova puts the ball in his right hand and attacks the backboard.
Scores are level. Cal almost lost it. The Hawks have gone really cold at the wrong time of the game. Froling. Swakala Bullock cleans it up. Their lead is 2, but they have got their hands full stopping Melbourne, who are getting buckets every time they head down this end. This time it's Clark on the move. He can't be stopped.
The dribble penetration, Andrew. We saw it in game 1. The Hawks had a tough time keeping the ball in front of them, and now it's rearing its head again at the most critical of times, and all off the strong hand penetration.
Yeah, and this gets back to what I was saying, that just the defense that Melbourne United are able to play, and sure, Illawarra have come up with a couple of big plays, but they've been challenged a lot more than those last 2 possessions, where Melbourne United just able to bully their way to the bucket.
Cal, Harvey, Froling, Swakala Bullock, Hickey on the floor for Illawarra. Clark, Dellavedova, Lee, Goulding, and White for Melbourne United. Dellavedova got a hand in the lane. Dives after that ball.
He dived too early.
Well, he misjudged the speed of the basketball. He's angry with himself, and he'll have time to think about it because Dean Vickerman has called a timeout. The intensity, Jack, this is what we expect in a big-time game like this as we have here in game 2.
Are they feeling the pressure right now, Illawarra?
Well, they both are. There's so much at stake for both these teams. And a little bit more as the Illawarra Hawks try to wrestle back home court advantage with a road win.
They haven't had a good offensive possession in seemingly 10 possessions.
But they have been able to find ways to score. To me right now, Froling on that box, I know that last one was not as smooth as what you like, but he has been really strong around the bucket.
Maybe move Marcus Lee around a bit. Swing the ball side to side, hit Lee with the pick, bring Froling off, and maybe that will give Sam just a little bit extra space that he needs to operate, because right now it's really, really wrestly in there.
Yeah, nothing's going to come easy. And it's tough because you haven't seen a whole lot of it, but the way Melbourne United are playing, a sneaky back cut here would be a good option as well.
Look at the all-time three-point makes and finals. Chris Goulding sitting at number 3. A great list of the 5 best of all time. Tony Ronaldson at number 1, and of course, you, Andrew Gaze, one of the greatest of all time.
9,000 people inside John Cain Arena. And all of Illawarra watching on. Scores level, a minute remaining. It's winning time in game 2. And Marcus Lee picks up his 4th.
And how about the self-confidence in Will Hickey. A couple of seasons ago, he was begging for a game, looking for a team. Now, on the biggest stage, coming up with big plays, and he's going to be tested from the free throw line.
64% from the line for the season, 75% in the postseason. Will Hickey.
Solid stroke.
It was.
Now up to 7 points in the game, and point number 8 would be massive.
See, I actually think, you know, huddling up and not being around the rim when it's pressure time, I think they would have been better just to be on the line. Melbourne United.
Mason Peatling out there for this defensive possession. We've hardly seen him tonight against his former team. Melbourne trailed by 2. Swakala Bullock caught holding on to Golding.
They had a foul to give. That'll be their 4th, so they've used it up pretty quickly.
I actually don't mind that one, Andrew. Put them in a sideline out-of-bounds situation, a scenario in which they function less frequently than just bringing the ball down the court.
Now, this is the time where if you're thinking about it, if Jack White gets it, you're thinking maybe there's a foul.
Dellavedova blocked. Huge from Kell. And then it caught the foot of Clark, and the Hawks get the ball back.
Great effort from both teams as Trey Kell gets a hand on that basketball. The Hawks aren't able to secure it.
What a block.
And Clark gets to it, but then as he's trying to slice to the bucket, goes off his foot, kicks it out of bounds.
Nervous energy inside this building.
So there's been this patch of dead space, Jack, where Tatum didn't have to burn a timeout. He's been able to organize his troops about what they want right here on this offensive possession.
Down 1-0 in the championship series. The Hawks lead by 2. Their chance to score here and potentially head back to Illawarra with the series locked away at 1 apiece. The game hangs in the balance. Kell misses. Shot clock switched off. Dellavedova had a part to the basket. Golding. No good. Marcus Lee gets it back. Still 10 seconds for Melbourne. Ian Clark is fouled, and he will shoot 3 free throws to take the lead.
Incredible passage of play. I thought there was some contact on Golding's attempt, but they scramble and get the ball back via Marcus Lee.
Well, fortunately for Melbourne United, it was that bad a miss. It made it a real tough rebound. He gets it out, and this just didn't need to do this. Coming from behind, almost impossible to avoid getting away with that by
Well, Andrew, I thought there was a possibility that he could have gotten his hand on the ball clean. He was just a bit reckless with swinging the arm.
Yeah, he just was too far past him, and he had to almost reach back.
One of their absolute best free throw shooters at the line. 91% for the season, Ian Clark.
Yes, but it's a lot different with 10 seconds remaining, 2 points down.
An NBA champion, an NBL champion. He's been on the biggest of stages before.
Nothing but the bottom of the net on that one.
A deep breath. Deadlocked at 99.
There will be a timeout. He's got 2 remaining. If he makes this third.
It's Melbourne by 1. Timeout Illawarra. Moment of truth for the Hawks.
That's big time. I know he's been and played at the highest level, won championships here and in the NBA. That is still big time to knock down 3 free throws at that stage.
And great nose from the ball and awareness by Marcus Lee, who again has had a very good contribution with 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. And not only the rebound, Andrew, but to set Ian Clark up for taking that 3 and getting that foul.
And that foul, it's one in the heat of the moment. I can understand and appreciate the pressure of it all, but he was close enough to contest. Just carry your hands high, and if he makes one, well, so be it. But to put an elite free throw shooter on the line with the type of play that he was trying to execute, the risk-reward was not there.
They fouled the three-point shooter again, Illawarra. What does this last play look like, Derek? Is this another Tyler Harvey moment coming?
Well, he's the guy that has the track record of performing well in moments like this. He's probably got the best finishing package out of all the prospects on the Hawks to take this last shot. He's got the step back, the floater, he's good at drawing fouls.
And how good has Ian Clark been this last month? He had a patch throughout the course of the season where he was not playing good basketball. Dean Vickerman was not playing him a lot. But when the lights are brightest, he stepped up.
Second 30-point game of the playoff series for Ian Clark. But all eyes are on Illawarra now. 10.4 seconds left. Down 1-0 in the championship series. Shooters all over the floor. Inbound to Harvey. 7 seconds left. He pulls the trigger. Oh. Big shot taker. Big shot maker. Tyler Harvey, enormous.
From villain to hero. What a play by Tyler Harvey. Just looked him in the eye and stuck it in the eye of Ian Clark. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Hit him with a jab, cross step, created enough space, elevated, bucket, Harvey, Hawks up by 2.
It was always going to be Tyler Harvey, wasn't it? He has made a career here in the NBL of hitting big shots late in games.
Hey, I tell you, if the Illawarra Hawks allow Matthew Dellavedova to catch this sideline out of bounds play along the baseline, which we've seen 3, possibly 4 times this season, to allow their weak side action, which has been highly successful, then they haven't read the scouting report. It's the way they've been beaten a number of times.
But Andrew, they're caught in a situation where they're worried about the ball coming out to the top, so the guy guarding the inbounder needs to shade so that pass to Dellavedova isn't easily accessible.
And Chris, the Melbourne United don't need a 3. A 2 is good enough here. You'd say with the way this last quarter's panned out, momentum their way, you'd feel good about yourself in overtime.
6 seconds left. Illawarra answer the call, and now it's Melbourne's turn. Dellavedova down to 4. Time expiring. Golding for the win from deep.
Oh my!
It was in, and then it was out. Illawarra win game 2 in the most dramatic of fashion, and we head to Sunday deadlocked at 1-1.
We have seen some amazing basketball, and these teams will head back to Wollongong all tied up at 1 in the most improbable of victories from the Illawarra Hawks. Great resilience, tremendous execution, and a big-time bucket by Tyler Harvey.
Spectacular by Tyler Harvey, particularly when going through your head what's just taken place down the other end. He'd be kicking himself for what happened by fouling a 3-point shooter, and then to come back and to be able to still maintain the confidence and the self-belief to knock that down. Exceptional individual performance by Tyler Harvey.
That is an incredible game, and one fitting of game 2 of a championship series. The Hawks take it by 2 in an absolute thriller.
Well, it takes a lot of different measures to win basketball games, especially on the road here in John Cain Arena, and that's a huge one.
And Kelsey Brown has got the man of the moment.
I do. I'm with Tyler Harvey. Tyler, I just heard Justin Tatum say you're on the board. 1 apiece, you're taking it to game 3. You're on the board. How sweet is that win?
it's good. I mean, it would have been hard to come back from 2-0. God, that was just an unbelievable game, both sides. Played well, and it just came down to the last 2 minutes of the game. That's what you want.
I have to ask about that last shot. What's going through your mind when that's happening? The play's obviously drawn up for you, but that is ice cold to finish that off.
You know, Kelsey, during that timeout, I was like, God, please give me a shot to redeem myself for fouling Ian Clark at the 3. And God gave me a chance to shoot the ball and made it. I'm just thankful I got that shot off, man, and went in. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do.
I love the celebration of this. We didn't see Melbourne United celebrate game 1. You said to me before the game there's so much left to go, but I love seeing that emotion. That win is so sweet to take into game 3.
I mean, we know how important each game is, and that shows you how much this game meant to us. I mean, this is a good team. Down 2-0 to a good team like this, like I said, it'll be tough to claw your way back, so that was a big one for us.
We absolutely love it. Congratulations. Enjoy this one.
Thanks, Kelsey. Appreciate it.
Another one to add to the highlight reel of red time buckets for Tyler Harvey. Illawarra winner tonight, 102-100. Copes, Felix and Hulls are back to wrap up an incredible night at John Cain Arena. We are locked at 1 apiece.